Someone put a crying emoji in the comments. I'm not sure why.
Uh-oh.
Aw.
Oh, should we make it bigger? Make it bigger. Yeah, you can make it bigger. Oh, there's comments. Oh,
No, RJ's here already. Oh, you're not going to Twitch as well?
I don't have the thing.
What thing?
The Twitch account.
Oh, you're not going to Twitch as well? You don't?
Mm-mm.
Why you tell me?
I didn't know. I didn't even think about it because like I don't use, I'm supposed to use Twitch, but I really don't for myself. Let me see.
Okay.
I don't know a thing about Twitch, so I got nothing for you.
We have a Twitch channel that like we never say anything about. It's just there to see if we get banned, honestly.
A tester.
We're on Twitter too.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna send you the stuff for Twitch. Actually, I thought I did.
Oh, right. We're live on Fred Hampton Leftist. I was like, why isn't Sabby Sab's channel live?
Yeah, we're live on Twitter too.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, I just retweeted the Twitter. Yeah, I'm gonna send you the Twitch stuff so we can go there.
There we go. I see it.
Actually, I'm gonna do it here. Hi, people, because we're actually live. Like,
what's good, y'all?
Hey guys.
I thought we were live before.
Do you want me to add the Twitch to it, Jackie?
Yes, I'm sending you the stuff right now.
Oh, I could take
As soon as I find it. I feel like a conversation should be happening right now.
Yeah.
Talk
We'll
about
be just a second, guys. We're trying
what
to
happened. Okay.
Say so Bank Sisters, who are y'all?
Oh, okay. We're kind of like Renaissance women, experts in leisure and relaxation. We really want to encourage, like, our thing is like encouraging Black people to learn how to enjoy themselves, and that we need relaxation and celebration. I do stand up. I'm an actor, and then like we both have lots of different things, and lots of things are going on in our lives, and we do podcasts and tweet.
Pretty much
Protest and
go. Yeah, we're going to the Medicare for All march. We went to the Force the Vote march.
lots of Black Lives Matter marches.
Lots and lots of it before we got back here. Yeah.
Glory, tell us about you. Tell us story. Yeah, I love this. I don't know. I like this whole
I'm Glory. I'm a college student, and I'm also a co-host of a Slow News Day show, and I'm also a guest host of Anonymous Bites Back, and then I'm an activist in like a bunch of different arenas. I help out with the Palestinian community here, who's trying to launch a BDS campaign. There's also obviously tons and tons of Black Lives Matter protests from LA, some election integrity stuff mixed in, and then a lot of activism for Julian Assange. And as of now, Commander X of Anonymous, who was just recently renditioned from Mexico to the U.S. About a little over 2 weeks ago now. So, yeah, and then a couple other stuff too, but also kind of an anime nerd, so that fits in somewhere into sports fanatic. So yeah, that's me. Jackie.
I'm just Jackie. I'm just an idiot on the internet. People, for some reason, want to hear me say stuff. I do FHL. I have a show on FHL called Nerdolitics, where we talk nerd culture and politics. We stream on Mondays. I do interviews. This Thursday, I'm going to be interviewing Aaron Mate.
wow, that's amazing. Congrats.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's cool.
And then, also Thursday, we're doing a live stream with a ladies live stream, which it's my fault. I did it wrong. I put the ladies of FHL. It's not only the ladies of FHL. There will be other ladies. I just did that because I had a lot going on and I thought that only the FHL ladies had said yes, but apparently other people have. So new poster coming today. So
Today.
Jackie, it says we have enabled login with email. They want a username for Twitch.
Fred Hampton Leftist.
Okay. All caps or lowercase or
I don't think it matters with the username. It's
Okay.
just, if anything, it's just capital F and that's it. I have my phone ready because it's going to send you and it's going to make you do an email thing.
Ah, yes.
yeah, sorry guys, we're trying to connect Twitch
Hey,
too.
no problem. No worries. This reminds
Behind
me
the
of
scenes.
vacation Bible school with my mom, so it's going great.
Well,
We had to help.
comments.
That's one of the joys of living with your parents. You know, you gotta help them do technology stuff. But this I don't,
Right.
which is a step too far for me. Yeah, I don't know nothing.
Cat83 said, love Slow News Day. More people need to talk about the Great Reset, but many aren't ready for this convo.
That's true. I don't know if
It says it's not right. It says the password isn't right.
Okay. You're going to make one change and I'm going to tell you what it is because we have two different passwords.
Okay.
Meg McPherson is
All right, I just
asking
sent you that.
to message Bess, and does she need to?
I did. I already did.
Okay.
Thanks, Meg. Sorry. That was Meg is my co-host for Nerdolitics.
Nice.
Yeah, that explains the Nerdolitics comment that she did.
It says it says the password isn't correct.
Even after you made that change?
Yeah.
That should be the password. Hold on. Let me log in real
Corey,
quick.
can you tell us about I don't want to introduce a topic that's going to be off topic, but I don't fully understand what the Great Reset is. What's two sentences? I don't know.
2 sentences. Yeah, I'll try to condense it. Basically, it's a theme put forth by the World Economic Forum, and it's spearheaded, and because of that, it's spearheaded by a lot of Western governments in particular, which, even though it claims to advocate for something like stakeholder capitalism, which is basically you will own nothing, but you'll like it because you'll feel like you're owning something. And then this whole idea is kind of a smokescreen for increased surveillance, the financialization of nature, and further colonization of the global South, because the infrastructure for something like smart cities, which are a part of the Great Reset, is going to have to come from places like Tanzania, or from the Congo, or even the ocean floor, where they'll have to do deep sea mining. So not only will they continue mining resources from the global South, but they're also kind of using that as a way to sort of digitally colonize the global South. So it's basically an acceleration of the current policies we see, but under the guise of kind of like a fourth industrial revolution.
Okay. That was very concise. Yeah, that was good. I liked it. Okay. Because I figured it was something like that, but now I got it. Okay.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, it's hard to condense, but that's pretty much it.
Sure.
Yeah. A great I follow Corey Morningstar. She does really good work on that. I think she was actually, I think Ben Norton referred to her once as well. So she does great work on that. And she has a series called It's Not a Social Dilemma, It's a Calculated Destruction of the Social, which basically goes over this kind of stuff. So yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
All right, Corey Morningside. I'm looking into it right now.
Yeah, Corey Morningstar.
Morningstar. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's
Thanks
dope.
for explaining that. Yeah, for sure. Oh gosh, I can't even find that.
Okay, sorry. I have been trying to double check what the password is, but it turns out I'm like logged in already everywhere, so it's not giving me the option to. So I'm just gonna check my actual stored passwords to find out what it is.
Okay.
So,
and
like,
there's no spaces in between the words, right?
no spaces.
Okay.
Cool.
So as long as we're figuring this out, since we do have nerdolitics on this, did y'all see the new Demon Slayer movie?
I did not.
I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry. Okay, look, let's preface this by also saying that
We're old.
We're old,
like,
so
you know,
we're outside, we're gardening. It's
right. We have a niece your age. Like, I don't know.
Did you just say you're old? How old do you think old is?
About as old as I am. I mean, I'm older than she is.
Well,
We have an age.
How old
difference.
is the oldest one of you?
41.
I'm
Damn.
43.
Okay, so we're right in there.
Snap.
Still not old.
still not old is what she's saying.
I'm not old.
I guess.
I'm just,
I guess
you
you're
know,
right.
it's just you're right. We are just not up on anything.
No.
What other stuff is out? I mean, what Demon Slayer is that out in like the theaters? Is that
I think it's still in theaters. It's
damn, I haven't seen
Are
any
theaters
Yeah.
open? I'm still so confused. People are
Yes,
going to
theaters
theaters.
are
yeah,
open.
theaters are open.
Not only are theaters open, theaters are all the way open, as in no. Yep, that's the password. Sorry, I'm sending it to you. I'm going to send it to you through Twitter this time because I'm taking it straight from my computer. Theaters are completely open without restrictions here.
Ooh,
So
where's
no
theater?
social distancing. You don't have to wear a mask. You can just do whatever you
Full
want.
capacity. Where do you live, Jackie?
California, Southern California.
Oh, you're in Cali
Oh wow!
too.
All right,
Okay.
yeah, because it was
Oh.
like way locked down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
think I got
I
it
think
now.
we would consider ourselves millennials, right?
No, I'm Gen Z, but you're a millennial.
I'm Gen X.
Gen Z.
You did Gen X.
Sorry. Oh my god. Gen Z is the opposite direction. Oh my god.
That might be like a long COVID
Look,
or from a seizure. I don't know.
It could be any number of these. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Ugh. How are you guys feeling about things going back to normal?
Meh.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
all for it.
I mean, what could go wrong? Things going back to normal in the middle of a pandemic? Everything should be fine.
And also like abject climate crisis. So I'm sure it's fine.
Oh my
to just
god, what's
Okay,
happening
Jackie,
in like the
I'm
Pacific
in.
Northwest?
It's asking for a
Okay.
code.
Okay, here we go.
Well, Cor can tell you all about the Pacific Northwest because she is keeping up with the drought and the fires. Well, there's no fires yet.
Bro,
There's
it was
drought.
insane. I was watching the Olympic trials, which take place in Eugene, Oregon, and they had to like postpone it for a couple hours because it hit 110 or something, and one of the
Jeez.
athletes passed out. So
Of course.
Take us, Abby.
I mean, even just here, we're in Virginia, and I mean, the sun is like much hotter, just like you know what I mean? Like much hotter on your skin than it was before. And no one ever talks about the ozone layer. So is that why? Like, what happened to it? Is it closed? It's obviously still open.
Remember
They
they
just
used to
don't
talk
talk
about that all
about
the
it.
time.
Oh, did you send the code?
Alien
Yeah,
plane.
it's in the private chat here.
Oh, I can't come out of the screen. Hold on.
Glory, where are you at?
I can't come out of the screen.
I
shoot.
am
Okay.
in currently
You want me to send
storming
it to you on Signal?
South Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
shit. Are you scared all the time? I would be scared a lot.
No.
I have bad anxiety. I mean, from like climate, you know?
Nah, not really. I mean, like, I go to school in LA, but I grew up here all my life, so it was just like
used to it.
Yeah.
But then do you feel safe in LA? Because we lived there, we just came from there, and for me, like, I was just having a lot of panic attacks about an earthquake happening any minute. You know, now there's a drought.
I've actually been through a couple earthquakes now. It was
big,
like
though? Not,
I don't
It's not letting me log in because it's a different device.
Yeah, it just sent me another one. Hold on.
I forgot what the measurement was, but there was a really big one that hit like Vegas.
You have the second one. I'll give it to you right now.
And Southern California. And I was like in summer school at the time, and I was in my dorm room, and like the bed started shaking, and I'm like, yo, what's happening? And then I got off the bed, and like the whole building was moving. I was like, yo, no. So I like jetted out and went outside.
I'm like the exact opposite.
Okay.
My first earthquake, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I'm not full opposite. Sorry.
I was like, is this building about to fall over? Nah.
So what you guys said is that none of you are from California? Okay.
Yeah.
No,
All right. We should be we should be on Twitch now.
Oh.
Is that your husband?
Yes. He's being silly. Wait, he's supposed to be driving. How is he doing this and driving at the same time?
Ooh, you just got busted.
Wow.
Oh.
I'll get you.
All right, guys. Welcome to FHL. Today, we have a wonderful panel. We have Glory Jones from Slow News Day. We have the Bank Sisters. And we also have, of course, you guys know Jackie from FHL. And you have me. And today, we're going to talk about intersectionality, which has become a hot topic as of recent, especially with critical race theory being banned in some states. Before I open it up to the panel, I want to explain to everyone what intersectionality is, because some people have misconceptions about this. So basically, oh, Franco's here.
Franco.
I was on his show yesterday, and he was on mine.
No. Oh yeah, I saw y'all talking about Marvel.
Yeah, that was me. And Meg.
So intersectionality refers to people of marginalized groups that have multiple social identities. So for example, all of us on this panel, we are women. So we have the social identity of gender, but we're also African American. So we have the social identity of race. So we sit at multiple social identities. And you can even take this a step further. Some people have 3 or 4 like social identities. And the best way to dive into this, I have a video I want to share. It's from Kimberly Crenshaw. So she is actually the person that coined the term intersectionality. She's a professor at Columbia University. So I'm going to share a short video really quick where she actually explains how this works. Go into share. Share screen, Chrome, share audio, Kimberly, share. All right, making sure everyone can see my screen.
You got it.
I'm just going to blow through the ads really quick.
Oh, yeah.
All these ads. All right, let me turn up the volume.
Intersectionality is just a metaphor for understanding the ways that multiple forms of inequality or disadvantage sometimes compound themselves, and they create obstacles that often are not understood within conventional ways of thinking about anti-racism or feminism or whatever social justice advocacy structures we have. Intersectionality isn't so much a grand theory, it's a prism for understanding certain kinds of problems. African American girls are 6 times more likely to be suspended than white girls. That's probably a race and a gender problem. It's not just a race problem, it's not just a gender problem. So I encourage people to think about how the convergence of race stereotypes or gender stereotypes might actually play out in the classroom, between teachers and students, between students and other students, between students and administrators, and commit themselves to understanding that as a way of intervening and providing equal educational opportunity for all students, regardless of their identities. Identity isn't simply a self-contained unit. It is a relationship between people in history, people in communities, people in institutions. So schools do a good job when they understand that and when they commit themselves to curricular development, to opportunities in the school for all students to understand the histories that have brought us to this particular moment. You can't change outcomes without understanding how they've come about. So independent schools can take the lead on that to be responsive to their student populations and to the communities out of which the students come.
All right, I'm going to stop share. So there are several videos that you can watch on YouTube with Kimberly Crenshaw. She really goes really deep into this, but I want to open it up to the panel. There was something that she mentioned in the video that I found really interesting, is that Black girls are more likely to be disciplined than white girls. And I guess the same thing for women as well. I want to hear about everybody else's experiences with intersectionality, particularly like being a Black female. So who would like to start?
We have a good one. Well, I think we have a pretty good one, and it relates to school as well. Just exactly like what you said, like not necessarily that we got suspended. Well, it started, I'm 8 years older. So in my high school, there was a teacher, Dr. Martin, if you're out there. She was the vice principal at the time, and I was on like the student council or whatever, and she just hated me. She just outright hated me. Any opportunity she had to, you know, knock me down a peg or get me in trouble, she would take it. To the point, got stalked. Well, yeah, that's a whole other story. I got stalked while I was in high school, but she kind of like, I mean, she treated me like shit about the whole thing. And, you know, she would take it even as far as like, I mean, obviously I was in high school. My mother was buying my clothes. So, you know, I wore like kind of like a short, like romper thing, very cute for the summer. And like she, you know, her and the principal, they forced me to like change what I was wearing. They made a huge deal of it. And she always treated me like shit. Then here I am, I go off to college. I have, you know, I don't think again about Dr. Martin again until she was my vice principal. And I was like super involved in everything. And like, this lady hated me to the point that she tried to get me to not walk for graduation. And I was the class president, so I was supposed to speak. And she kind of blamed any kind of, kids would do organizations outside, like try to do class shirts or something together. And she would pin it on me. She took away like an honor society thing from me just because she had it out for me. And there was never a reason, and never any other, I've never seen another student be denied like being in an honors society based with like all of the things I had going on. So it was really weird, like these grown adults having it out for us, never saying why. Like when Keisha was stalked, like people were putting getting notes into her locker, which is like a huge. Well, they were like say like, and they actually they painted. They came to our house and they painted something on our dad's van too. Like it was a pretty serious thing, and she kind of treated it like, she was like, your fault, you wear short skirts, so I guess you're asking for it. Pretty much. And they basically just always treated us like we were trying to be trouble. That's always the connotation that I got. We were trying to be trouble for these people, and we live in a predominantly white area. It's very country. You know, there's a lot of like good old boy types here, and so for us to even like navigate through high school and all that stuff, there's a lot of racism and all that going on. So to have your vice principal have it out for you and try to look for ways to get you in trouble when you're a good kid is kind of astounding. Oops, sorry.
I mean, I can kind of relate to that just because I grew up in South Florida, and then we actually, was born and lived in Dade County for the first years of my life, but then we moved up to Broward for like school and stuff. So I was in like a predominantly kind of white area for that, and predominantly a Gusano area for that. So I have like not necessarily experiences that bad, but like just the vast amount of people who just like did not believe that like a Black woman could be a nerd, could be good at sports, could be like overachieving. And I remember there was one time when I said like, I was talking to like my calc teacher. She's like not calc teacher, like my geometry teacher, and she's like the super like heavy Southern accent, and like I'm talking to her and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna double up in this math class next year. Looking forward to it. She's like, why would you want to do that? I'm like, because I can. She in the whole rest of the year, once she found out that I was planning to like double up in math, she was shitting on me, even though I was doing like incredibly well in her class. Mm-hmm. There was also another time when I was because I was an athlete as well. So I would be like in PE class, and I crossed up some dude, and he got so pissed that we came down on offense, and he started bodying the shit on me. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with you? And this dude is like red face, almost about to cry. I'm like, you are not the best basketball player in the class. Why are you so mad all of a sudden? And it's like, oh, he doesn't want to get his ankles broken by a girl. Okay, I get that. I got all kinds of experiences like that. And yeah, I mean, and just like, especially going into activism and politics, there's like so much unintended condescension you get because it's like, oh, you curse too much, or you seem too angry, or hey, I think you might overwhelm people in your delivery. It's like there are other people, specifically white males, that say the exact same things that I do, and you have no problem with it.
Right.
So yeah,
100%.
Jackie?
Yes. Oh, it's my turn. Sorry. I was just listening. You actually want me to say stuff. So for me, I guess it's almost impossible to say what somebody's discriminating against you for, because there are so many different ways. So unless it's blatant, I just assume maybe you just don't like me. Because like for me personally, there's tons of people who don't like me just because I'm fat. And then there are some people who don't like me because I'm Black, and some people don't like me because I'm a woman, and some people don't like me because I'm a Black woman. And there are way more of you than there are of me, and I don't have time to worry about that. Like I'm just gonna do my thing. And then I just make fun of it, because why not? So when people are like if I like, my show Nerdolitics, right? It's about nerd culture. So it's about like comics and movies and stuff like that. And like Glory was saying, people will say like, you listen to this music, you watch this, and I'm like, yeah. Is it because I'm Black? Is it because I'm a woman? Like it's so sometimes like I get stuff like that all the time, but I try to just be like, I know it sounds weird, but I try to make it personal as opposed to any one individual thing, because there are too many things, and I don't have time to sit here and figure out why you don't like me. Right. Like I just don't care. Like the way I look at it is like, there are nearly 8 billion people on this planet. 4 billion might hate me, but 4 billion will like me. So,
Dang, that's positive. I wish I had that outlook. I always focus on the freaking other 4 billion. I know. I'm trying to learn to that's the mindset. Yeah.
I've always had that thought, because, like Glory was saying, the stereotype for Black women is, we're all angry all the time, and people love to put me in boxes, and I don't ever fit in the box, and I just don't ever try, because everybody has a different box. Some
Mhm.
people have a box that's puritanical for women, and then some people have a box that is like, you know, twerking and like listening to rap music for Black women. And I don't fit either of those. I'm not going to try to worry about which box you want to put me in. I'm just going to do me, and either you're going to get on board or you're not, and that's it. Like, I know that sounds weird and probably selfish, but it's just there are way too many people outside judging. I don't want to worry about that.
Why should you have
Yeah,
to change
I
for
feel
them?
that.
Right. Yeah. You have to protect your own energy. So I think that sounds like, I mean,
Yeah.
at least the less you can care about not care about other people, but care about what people think of you, the better. I mean, it just like frees up so much mental space, you know?
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I was going to say, like to add to what Jackie said, like it's true. I do feel like we tend to be put into a box more. It's like Jackie brought up twerking. Like, I'm going to say something and it's going to be controversial, but I cannot twerk. I tried.
I can't. That's only a few who can do that.
I've never tried. I have no
I got in
desire.
position and everything, and like nothing happened. It was really laughable. But I don't know how to do that. I do know how to dance, but I cannot twerk. So they tend to put us in like these boxes more so. And I found along the way that like anything outside of that, it's like they don't know what to do with us. Like, for example, like Jackie listens to different types of music and Glory played sports and she was into like academics. It's like, oh, you have both of those. Like, I feel like they don't really know what to do with people like us. And Jake put a comment in the chat, and this is interesting. He said, who treats Black girls or Black women worse, white men or white women?
Ooh. I got an answer.
I know. I think we all have an answer.
I have an answer.
Do we need to answer it? 'Cause
What do y'all think?
White women.
White
Yep.
women, 100%.
White women, 100%.
I
Yeah.
can't tell you, like, this is some nonsense. White women.
White
Oh,
women
yes.
are methodical. So
Yeah.
well, that was something I wanted to touch on also just everybody kind of touched on the angry Black woman thing is sometimes I am fucking angry. I mean, like that's one thing that I don't like is like I actually deserve to be angry in this moment and I'd like to do that. And so for me, like I really step into that and I'll be like, oh, well, I guess I am that bitch. Oh, well, but you know, it's like people are going to deem you that way, whether you get your point across sometimes or not. So I might as well get my point across, you know? And I just feel like we get it's almost like that's been put on us so much that sometimes we don't stand up for ourselves or we just kind of take things and then people think that we're so resilient or we're so strong or whatever because of it. And it's like, no, sometimes I'm angry and I want to be angry and that's okay too.
That's another one. The we don't feel pain, the automatic assumption of resilience. No matter what we go through, we're not supposed to be angry. We can handle all the pain because we're strong Black women, and we're not always strong. Sometimes we're weak. Sometimes we need things, but we're not allowed to seem weak because we're the strong Black women. Like there's so many boxes, and they all just keep you from being a human.
Yeah, bro. Sometimes, sometimes we like to cry. Sometimes we have to cry. Like I have like bad anxiety. So like, and that actually was something that like was such a mental hurdle for me. Getting into activism was my anxiety. So it's like we have our vulnerabilities. Like even though I have like personally a high pain tolerance, like I'm mentally I still have a lot of work to do because of my anxiety and like I'm trying to grow in that area. And it's like we're human. It's like Jackie said, we're all human at the end of the day. So we're allowed to be angry, we're allowed to be passionate because that's all like in humanity. And like me personally, I don't try to run away from any of that. Like if like when I go to protests and stuff, anytime I'm yelling, I'm like going all out. Like I'm not trying to hold anything back. I'm just embracing that shit because it's like at the point we're in now with the time we have left to actually act, I think everybody can just go all out, no holds bars, regardless of what people will think of you. If you're too angry or it's overwhelming, nah, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to protest with you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I am like of the other camp. Like I
don't show any emotions. Like, I feel like I just don't even want people to know what's going on inside my head most of the time. So I just won't even. Oh my God, Keisha had a kidney infection, almost a serious kidney infection last week. Yeah. And, you know, she was trying to help me with something, trying to help her boyfriend with something. And, you know, we all have back pain. She thought it was normal. And just she pushes through. She's always just like, I'm fine, whatever. And then what? You would have been right. Then I had to go to the hospital. I don't have a kidney for you. I don't think so. But I mean, I think I think everyone does think that we're, you know, the strong Black women, and we have to hold up people in a lot of different ways. I think, unfortunately, Black people have also accepted this idea that we're strong Black women. So you're not only supporting your family, but then you're also dealing with people from the outside world who need your support, and your, you know, Black boyfriend who obviously is struggling and he needs your support. And like, you know, it's, it comes from so many sides that for me, it's unfortunate, but you know, I wish that I could go out there and like show all of my emotions and be like, you know, like, but for the most part, I just like shut down because I don't have the energy for it. And so I just like, I go more inward, where you definitely go, you know, full out with your emotions, which I think is good. But I mean, I think
neither is good or bad.
Neither is good or bad.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, it's interesting, like, you know, what can we do to even protect ourselves in this?
Right. You're protecting yourself. That's your way of protection.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and in reference to Jake's comment, it's really interesting because I found, like, especially growing up, I always got along with guys so much easier. I don't know why, like maybe it's because I like sports, that could be part of it, but I just found that like guys in general didn't really care, especially when I was in high school. You guys know how girls were in high school. So it's like, if you didn't look a certain way or fit into a certain clique, then these group of girls didn't want to hang out with you. And I felt like the guys were just like, they didn't care about like the superficial materialistic stuff. They just wanted someone that they could like watch a game with, that they could like play basketball with. Like they didn't care about those things. But I have found, like, especially in my adult life, women in general, that's where I struggled the most, I felt like, because there was a lot of like drama. And I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of cattiness sometimes and drama, instead of just keeping things like straight to the point. And RJ's in the chat, and I want to bring up something RJ mentioned really recently on Franco's show. So RJ brought this up, and this was something I didn't really think about. He said that he's even noticed that when it comes to African Americans, especially in leftist space, he noticed that there's even a difference between the way that Black men are treated versus the way that Black women are treated. Do you guys feel that as Black women, sometimes we face a different type of discrimination?
I'm going to say
talking to the first female for FHL, for a while the only female for FHL. I was ignored left, right, up, and down. Most of the time, RJ, the person who you were talking to, most of the time I would say something and RJ would have to say it again just to be heard, because I was ignored so much.
That's true.
So,
still true. Yeah, still true.
Yeah. So,
I would say, on terms of that, like I'm going to say something a little controversial, but I think like white women want to date Black men, and white guys like want a cool Black friend. And I just feel like Black women we don't have anything to give street cred to, or whatever it is. I don't know, something like that. I've seen it in the comedy scene, and I see it kind of in the leftist sphere, but I feel like and in that way, it's a tokenism, you know. It's like, I've got this cool Black guy friend, but it's got more cred for some reason than, you know, anything that we don't have anything to offer, I guess. But that's how I feel.
Well, I mean, like, I feel like that's what we see with someone, you know, I'm going to be controversial again. Like, I think that's what we see with someone like Nina Turner, where like you see all these people who go out and like we're gaslighting Black people for refusing to vote for Joe Biden all summer, like, oh, hello, somebody, like all kinds of basically tokenization of her. And it's just like,
that was crazy.
You know, like regardless of what you think of Nina Turner, like there's a very clear like, oh hey, look at my progressive Black friend kind of sentiment with that one. And it's just like there's so many times where like you said, people want to have that cool Black friend, but they'll never actually just like listen to what we have to say. It's like when Jackie said that like RJ had to say something again, I feel that so much. Like there's so many times where I'm like, listening, I'm not asking for anything else other than for you to just listen to me and for people to hear what I have to say. And like, you know, it unfortunately takes a platform to begin with to be able to do that in this kind of like leftist independent space.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes down to it, we're all women, unfortunately. So, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. But I mean, there's still just such a huge problem with how far just women, period, have gotten. So, I mean, it's going to be, I feel hopeful, I guess, that, you know, the youngest generation are a little bit more accepting or trying to, you know, like a little bit more equal. But that's like discouraging, Glory, that you still feel like people are talking over you because you're the younger generation. So, geez, Gen Z or X over here. I don't know. I don't know what the thing was.
Gen Z is the latest. There's actually a generation after them that was just born. But the way, like, you could see that that's still going on just from the way, like, look at TikTok. Because what tends to happen is we will create something and then somebody else will steal it and not give us credit for it. When I say we, I mean Black women.
Right.
Because like on TikTok, that just happened where, you know, well, not just, like, it's been happening, but finally the creators started, the Black creators went on strike. So basically Black girls were making dances to music and white women were stealing those dances, acting like they were theirs, not ever crediting the Black women who actually created the songs. And that's Gen Z that's doing that. So we're still actively being erased. And I think one thing that can actually help, or one thing that helps that happen, is the fact that our history is largely erased. Look at Hidden Figures. That movie didn't come out till the, you know, late 2015 like
a few
or something
years
like
ago,
that. Yeah, but that happened in the 60s.
Right.
If I had known about that when I was a little girl and wanted to be an astronaut, I might not be doing this right now.
For real. I was in robotics and they were like, no, go to
See, exactly. But the reason why we weren't taught that is because if we were taught the truth, that wouldn't perpetuate the stereotype that we're not good in math and science when we were the reason we left the planet. Black women are the reason why human beings have left the orbit of the planet.
And that's the facts.
We're also
because we were so good at math and science, but there's a stereotype that is trying to be maintained.
Correct. Well, anything like talking about like who's worse to Black women, white women or black or white women
or white men.
I think that like a couple of those things that even you were talking about is like, I think it's for white women, it's almost like I sense the protection of white supremacy more, or like the white structure more, because it helps them. And so like I feel pushed back by them more or told off by them more, you know, like, oh, you might be a threat, so I'm gonna have to thwart you down. That's kind of like how I would say.
I get that. It's like they see you as a threat. It's like
if you're on the if you've got like it's like you're involved in lots of different things. And I mean, I've literally had a white girl. I mean, it was about dating, but I was like with a bunch of my guy friends in high school and at like a bonfire, and I went on Monday morning. I was like, oh yeah, I went to a bonfire with all the guys, and she was like, were any other girls there? And I was like, no. And she was like, oh, that's fine, you're not a threat. And you know what? She was right, because our town is racist and nobody would probably marry a Black girl here. But it's like that. But I mean, like, that is where the mindset is. Like, I feel like that calculation is always taking place. Like, how are you going to affect my power?
How do you guys feel about this? How this applies on the left? So Greg said, I see a lot of white males mansplaining Black issues in left independent media. Ooh.
That 100%.
I mean, they're like, oh,
bro, like there will be times when like it'll be like a Black person and a white person on a panel, and like an issue like say stop and frisk will come up, and you will literally have like the white person talking over the Black person who's actually been a victim of police brutality. And like I want to give a shout out to like Nico House, because he kind of does like, you know, the version of the talk but for like lefty indie media. So and he was saying how like, you know, when the whole thing was happening with Mike Bloomberg, like people all of a sudden pretended like started caring about stop and frisk and those kind of policies because he was challenging Bernie. But like how many of those people actually invited a Black person on to talk about that stuff? It's like
right. Just you, right. It is for the time being.
Right. They don't actually want to hear it. I mean, obviously. So
I wasn't gonna go here, but somebody put this up here and they were in my mind. Z said, talk about Kyle and H ? I don't know who H is. Oh, his. Talk about Kyle and his N-word take. Ooh.
What's his N-word take?
What is his take?
We don't know what's going on. What's happening?
Somebody else want to do it besides me, because I already gave a really bad.
You're the expert. You guys.
I actually don't know what his N-word. I actually don't know what his N-word take is. So.
Y'all gonna get me in trouble. Okay, long story short, Hunter Biden, you know, it was revealed that he had used the N-word in private or whatever, and that whole thing came out.
Shocked.
And
Hunter Biden, the son. Wait a minute. You're not talking about the son of Joseph Robinette Biden, right? Are you trying to say that racism runs in the family?
The segregationists?
So that happened, and it is what it is, right? So basically, long story short, Kyle did a video about it, which a lot of people did a video about it. That wasn't the issue. The issue was there were some things that were said in that video that I found really problematic. To say things like, well, you know, I'm probably the last person that should be talking about the whole N-word thing, especially considering my history on Twitter. And stop right there. That's where the conversation should have ended. He went on to say, well, does this really matter? Is this really important? No, who cares? It's a private conversation. I don't care about it. Problem number one, he can easily dismiss it and not care because he's white and it doesn't directly affect him. Yep. Problem number two, he went on to try to explain to a majority white audience whether it's okay to use the N-word with the ER at the end or A at the end. And he said, well, you know, it depends on the context and da-da-da. Keep in mind, this is someone who used the N-word on Twitter for years. And people asked him to stop doing it, Black people, and he continued to do so. Now, eventually later on, he realized, you know what, this is not cool. I'm not going to do that. But here it is, 2021, and this dude is still trying to make excuses for using the N-word with the A. You're white. You are not Black.
And for Hunter Biden.
This shit really pissed me off because I'm like, no, this is why we got people out there like Vosh.
Oh my God.
Using the N-word and telling people to use it. This is why I'm seeing people on Twitter, white people on Twitter who are leftists, throwing around the N-word in chat groups, Movement for a People's Party. So this is a big problem. And when you have someone like that who has a platform that large, dude, if you don't know, just say you don't know, you're not sure, and let someone Black talk about that. But for him to like speak and be like, yeah, well, you know, it's okay if it's all right if you do, and then I'm like, no, like that shit really pissed me off because it's sending the wrong message. So again, here was a white man trying to explain how to use something that is more prevalent in our culture, that's prevalent in hip hop culture. And I saw a lot of people coming and jumping to his defense on social media and Twitter. And I was like, this is the perfect example, because had it been the other way around and it was a Black person that did something, a Black leftist commentator that did something that pissed off majority of white people, y'all would have been like, cancel them now. But because it's a white person, let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, and Kyle was saying that about Vash or whatever, explaining why it was okay for him to have him on. And I don't mind if you want to talk to somebody that you don't agree with, that's perfectly fine. But he was making excuses for it. He was like, oh, this is taken out of context. You can't say pedophilia should be legal taken out of context. Sorry. But I just feel like, yeah, there's a lot of these people. I just wonder, have they ever been met with the consequences of saying this not on a keyboard? Because that's fine. I guess you can't say it, but you're going to have consequences for real. Like, and so that's the problem. Unfortunately, not everybody does. And I'm not promoting violence, but sometimes you got to get taken down.
I know. It's like, but I be thinking that all the time too, because there's so many times where I look at what people say and it's like, if you said this in real life, bro,
right.
it would be a different story, which is why you have to go on the internet to say it. And it's like, it's like what Jackie said. I mean, not what Jackie, what Sab said. The fact that like you have so many people going out and like capping for these white boys in indie media, when like realistically, in indie media is like 98% white men. And it's like, you have so many people going out and capping for them, but like not extending any of that love or any of that defense towards Black people. It's like, I'm starting to see something. It's like people are more eager to defend Kyle Kulinski for that than they are to stick up for the Black people that have a problem with that. And it's like, dude, like I don't know if y'all have seen the chart before, but it's a really simple chart. It's like the can you say the N-word chart. Are you white? Yes. No, you can't say it. No. It's are you Black? No, can't say it. Yeah, yes / mixed with Black. Yes, go ahead. It's like, it's that simple. And I see so many white people try and police like how Black people can use the N-word. It's like, that's not your place. That's just not your place. And like, don't try it. I mean,
it's one of those things too, where it's like, and Jackie and I were talking about this on FHL Roundtable last week about white people appropriating Black culture. And it's like, you want to appropriate our culture, but when we say stand up and fight for Black issues, your ass is silent. When we say fight for reparations, you don't have anything to say, or you're like, no, I'm against it, because how are you going to do it? When we say, no, we need to defund the police, all of a sudden it's, well, no, we shouldn't do it because it's not popular. Anytime it's an issue that directly affects Black people, you want to back down, but you want to appropriate our culture. So I have a big problem with that, and I won't be silent about that. And some people may find me mean. I can be mean. But it just is what it is. Somebody has to stand up and say this shit, man. Because I'm so tired of we don't have many Black people in this space to begin with. And then we have some in this space that they want to be quiet and silent about it because they just want to get along so that they can get along. And I'm not that way. And if that means that people don't like me, then so be it.
Where are people saying the N-word on, like, okay, I mean, I go in and out, I'm like, I'm a little bit over here, reality TV Twitter, a little Black Twitter, a little left, a lot, mostly leftist Twitter, but I mean, don't really never watched Vouch or anything like that, but I've seen, people kind of debating about it, but there are just people who are straight up like, I'm a leftist, but I also think the N-word is fine. How does that match up?
Yeah. Basically, it's just crazy. It's crazy. And like, I know Movement for a People's Party, they had this happen in a chat. Really? They had it happen in a chat.
Was it used like as like an alternative to like the term buddies or something? Like, I mean, there obviously is no context, but I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes and see at what point would I think that was okay?
Yeah, well, it's like, from what I understand, because like numerous people have had the volunteers come on their show and talk about some of the issues that they had with MPP, but that was one of the things that came up. And the volunteers obviously were passionate about this organization. They were passionate about the movement. They just wanted these things fixed. And that was one of the things they wanted the leadership to address. And the leadership, and I think we all know, who they are, they have chosen not to address it. I know multiple people have invited them to come on their show and they've ignored them because they don't want to deal with the racial issues that they have in MPP. And my whole thing is how are we supposed to build a coalition of people across different, parties who we all kind of feel like, listen, both parties are really against us. We all need to just come together and build like a working class movement. How are you supposed to build that coalition? And like, you got Black people, and a lot of the activists are Black. And that's another thing you don't hear people talk about. You got Black people who are helping you organize, and this is how they're being treated. And this is why sometimes Black people, we say, you know what? We're not organizing. We're not getting involved because this is how we're treated as a part, being like activists. You have to address those things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be quiet now because I know I didn't went off.
Actually, fun fact, we actually had a Free Julian Assange protest outside of the Department of Justice. When was it? March 18th, I think it was.
That's an awesome day.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and Nick Branya showed up. So when I found that out, I didn't want to call him out at an Assange event, but I did call him out during my speech. I was like, you have people saying that we can vote our way out of this. You have people trying to start a new political party. You have people trying to start a new political party and ignore all the Black volunteers petitioning that party, looking him right in his face. And dude did not say anything. And then a couple speeches later, we saw him like leaving the whole protest. So.
Oh, wow. You might have got your point across. I like it.
I hope so. And like everybody, when we all saw Nick Branya there, like realistically, the first 4 speakers all like slew at him indirectly. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just like so annoying how it literally like detracts a lot of people from getting more involved in activism and like in groups, how like we're just treated and stepped over and like expected to worship all these white saviors. It's like, you do realize that like we can do all of the things that they can do, and so can you for that matter, but like your white savior complex is such a deterrent from more people, not necessarily more people getting into activism, but more people being open about their activism and getting involved in these groups. And it's just like, it's such a deterrent.
Yeah, that's definitely a turn off for getting involved. Who wants extra drama in their life? It's like, if this is going to be like this, do I have time for it? I'm not going to go somewhere else where I'm going to be disrespected. I have work for that. It's like, it's right. Crazy. It's just there's such a focus too on infighting right now in the left that the whole thing is kind of a little overwhelming when you open your Twitter every day. I mean, it's just slowing us down. I mean, nothing's already getting done, but now even more, nothing will ever get done.
Well, oftentimes too, I see, I know one of the things that has come up too, and RJ and I have talked about this as well, is that sometimes when you do see like with Black women, especially if we're the only one in the room or at the table or a seat at the table, a lot of times we are over talked.
Yeah.
By men, usually by men. As if they feel as like what we have to say is not important or as if we're not as informed. It seems like that they don't really want to hear like what we have to say. And the most recent example I saw this in leftist commentary was when Breonna Joy Gray was debating Sam Cedar. And it was I couldn't finish it.
So bad.
Neither could I. I didn't finish it either.
So
can you imagine going to a debate, not understanding even the process that you're debating and thinking that you can talk down to somebody about it like that?
Okay, but Jimmy Dore. Like, I don't think you like Jimmy Dore. That's literally all.
Okay,
every time he would say something,
there's a difference between talking.
That was his comeback.
What? Yeah. His comment. Yeah, you're right. It was just always, Jimmy Dore. Yeah. But Jimmy.
Yeah.
Like literally, she every time she was making really good points, and she would say, "Okay, this is why we need to force the vote. So please tell me why you think that is not that wouldn't happen if we force the vote." And he would be like, "Blah blah 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 blah, Jimmy Dore," and she's like, "Okay, can you answer me without using without saying the words Jimmy Dore?
I think
Can you just answer me on the merits of what I'm saying?"
No angry black woman. Position. That's exactly what happened.
And he was like, "I'm answering you, Jimmy Dore."
That's it. Jimmy Dore is my whole problem with it.
That's all that he was saying, and I was
What's so interesting is if you look at
2 hours of that, I can't do it.
It was bad. If you look at Sam, if you look at Majority Report's like YouTube page, it's all about Steven Crowder or Trump, or I mean, it's like where are the solutions here? What's something we can actually get behind and use? You know, it's like we have energy. I feel like we're kind of like representative of like more of an everyman, like trying to be an activist but not sure. And like basically, it's like we've got hands, we want to help out, but there's all these purity tests and this is and that's and. Where's the action? You know, it's like you want to talk down to Bree, but I don't see you giving something else as an option to say, here's something we can really put our strength behind. And I don't trust those people. And look at his YouTube page. There's nothing about Medicare for all. I'll tell you that. It's all about Steven Crowder.
So, it reminds me of that quote from a Janet Jackson song when she was like, "If you tell me I'm wrong, then you better prove you're right." And all the time, people tell us we're wrong without bothering with the proving that they're right part.
So true.
You're wrong. Moving on now. No, we're not. You got to prove that I'm wrong. Or you have to either prove that I'm wrong or prove that you're right. But you can't just say it like it's a fact and move on.
I know. It's like with the Medicare for All march. It's like you have all of these people like going at the Medicare for All organizers like, you're a Nazi. And it's like, okay. Even if that's wrong, how is a living Black Panther, Reverend Annie Chambers, who's a keynote speaker for the DC event, like how is she a Nazi? Are you going to prove that? Or like, what are you doing to organize for Medicare for All that doesn't involve kissing ass with politicians that aren't gonna do shit?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And also I want to add that a lot of the organizers and volunteers for the Medicare for All marches, a lot of them are Black.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, I think they just don't realize that. They don't know that. A lot of the speakers for these marches are also Black. So it's like, I was just like, where did this even come from? Like, obviously this is a troll. Like, I knew that right away. There's no way that someone really like did this one. Obviously this is a troll, but like people take whatever they want to online and they run with it. There's
the same thing that happened with Bernie's entire platform, like his presidential run this last time. Everybody said the Bernie bro, implying that his only supporters were white males.
Right.
He had tons of Black women. Hell, half his staff was Black women, but everybody acted like it was just white men. And he actually had fewer white men behind him than Trump.
It was infuriating.
So it was, but it's what they do is they erase us in order to act like, so what, when I say they, like, the playbook is for anybody in power to be able to silence something. They're just like, okay, let's just ignore the Black women and then say that, like, ignore the Black women that are very obviously standing right there in front of me and talking to me about this person, like Dr. Dooley, like Bree Joy Gray, like Nina Turner, like people like us. Let's ignore all of them and then just erase them and say it's nothing but white people. And then we're going to play identity politics on their behalf. We're talking that you're telling us to shut up so that you can say what you want to say for us.
Mm-hmm. Of course. And then give us, platitudes, of course. And,
yeah, which mean absolutely nothing and don't actually change anything.
Right.
Exactly. Oh, happy like Juneteenth.
Oh my
God.
Exactly. I saw them singing, like, whatever. I saw them singing. I got flashbacks to the damn Kente class when I saw that. I was like, this is gonna be terrible. You're gonna have like so much white people coming up to you now, just like, oh, hey, congratulations, happy Juneteenth. It's like slavery's not even fully abolished yet. Why are we even celebrating? It's so
lynching
so
still isn't even technically
patronizing.
illegal. But sure, another holiday that fixes everything.
Great. No economic policy, but
No.
thank you.
None.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like that'll
This
totally
administration is
help.
very good at giving token presents for sure. To
Mhm.
every little group gets their little Pulse. The Pulse nightclub is now like a national memorial. We got Juneteenth. The Asian people got something. Everybody gets a little thing, but nobody's getting shit out of the whole thing.
Right.
Also, can we stop capitalizing on dead people?
Wow.
I mean,
That-
Chalkus Harvey, Fed
Jo-
Scampton, Talcum X. I'm talking about Sean King.
But I actually wasn't even talking about him, but I just mean like there are so many like policies that are using their image and their name, but literally in name only, like that bill that everybody wanted to pass that had George Floyd's name on it, but actually would have made the situation worse.
yeah, that wouldn't have
So
saved
it's
his
like-
life at all.
Yeah. So what Democrats do, which I think is far more disgusting than Republicans, because I would much rather, if you don't like me because you're a racist, just be like, hey, I don't like black people. I'd be like, okay, now I know not to waste my time on you.
Right.
But Democrats are like, well, we don't like you any more than the Republicans do, but we're going to make you think that we do, and we're going to capitalize on you so that we can get what we want. And I think that's more disgusting.
It's
Yes.
so, bro.
And it's
If I ever get killed by police and like they put my name in a bill, I will rise for I will calm down and be, like I need to write that down somewhere. Like, ayo, if I ever get killed by the police, do
Put it-
not write my name and no damn imperialist, racist, systemic bill or anything like that, because that does piss me off. Like seeing how Black Death just gets so commodified for people's profit, like all like not only George Floyd, but like all the stuff with Breonna Taylor and Tamir Rice and people, and it happened in LA with people like Dejan Kizzy, and then you also had it happen with like Trayvon Martin, and literally like every Black person that gets killed, the first instinct for a lot of these like Democrats is like, ooh, this is our little sacrifice here. We can use this for something. Like it's such an instinct for a lot of people, and it's so disgusting to see, and it's infuriating.
Pelosi
Pelosi
even
said it.
described his death as a sacrifice, basically.
I know.
It's like what?
Yeah.
There was
Disgusting.
quick question in the chat. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. There's a lot of comments here.
You're doing great.
So Greg said, what advice would you give to straight white males who want to be more sensitive to intersectionality?
I'll start. Don't think of me as a female. Don't think of me as Black. Just treat me like a woman. It's like, okay, a lot going back to movies, because again, hello, nerd. When you ask most people, what is the best female representation, or like what is the biggest kick-ass female character in movies, most people are going to say it's from Alien, right? The reason why that character worked so well, why she's not a token character, is because it was written as a male and they just cast a woman. And they only did that because they liked her. They weren't trying to be woke or anything. But when they were doing the auditions, I think it was during the audition process, they were like, she was auditioning for a different part, and they were like, that would work better. So they just gave her the lead role for Sigourney Weaver. And so it was written as a man, and they literally just changed the name.
Right.
So just think of it. It's also, to bring up to another movie reference, like you remember at the end of A Time to Kill, when in order to get sympathy, Matthew McConaughey goes through the whole speech at the end, and he's like, picture all this stuff happening. Now imagine the little girl is white. And then everybody was like, oh my God, horrible, horrible. Yeah, exactly. So just treat us like you would treat another, like just a person, which, yeah, the default is white. So don't treat us like you treat a white person, but just think of us as a human. Don't think of me as a female. Don't think of me as a Black person. Just think of me as a female. And if you're not racist and you're not sexist, we won't have a problem. That's all you got to do. Like, to me, it's just that simple, but that's just me.
Yeah. It seems real simple. And I mean, like, I think there are.
It seems real simple.
We're not like
But I wish it happened more. I mean, but like I have encountered good people, and big shout out all my fam at MCSC Network, because they do really we do really see each other like as fam, as equals. I mean, like all I really ask is what I was saying earlier, just listen to us, because like there's lessons that you can learn within that, and like I don't know, it means something to me when I see people that just like learn from the things that I say, and it just like goes through no filter whatsoever, like, oh, I'm so surprised she knows this as a 20-year-old Black girl, like, oh my god, I'm shocked that she can be a nerd. Like, no, just like take what I say at its value without any of those additional filters. So yeah.
I mean, I would piggyback off of that and say, take what we say and share it with your white friends, because that's a thing that we can't really, I mean, we can do it, but obviously it doesn't come across the same way. So, right. I mean, that's something that's like the heavy lifting of, don't come to your Black friend every time you have a damn question. Like, you've read the things you're watching this podcast. You could find beyond Google, there are a million different ways you could hear Black women talk and start picking up the points that are important to them and relay them to your friends, and and check your friends when your friends are saying crazy shit, because especially now we're about to be back out in these streets, and I'm like a little bit in the back of my mind, like, because we live so rural where we live, that I'm like a little bit worried. I'm like, oh god, is something gonna pop up when we like
yeah man, that's why somebody have to get a gun. This is ridiculous. We're out here we're unprotected, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, just talk to your friends.
I would say that's the biggest thing, like especially with men too, is men have to check each other. Like I didn't stand up for a while, and like you can be as brazen as you want to, but for some reason, I mean, guys are just we all kind of are. You just default to a man being the highest authority. So just always check your friends, because a guy, because that's really going to help get a woman heard. Every single woman on here has talked about being talked over, and just wanting to be heard. And it's like, if you can help what we're trying to say get amplified and not being in our way while doing it, but like I think that's the biggest thing. Check those people.
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah. And one of the things I'll say too is because sometimes the liberal response tends to be, or excuse me, the white liberal response tends to be, I don't see color. Please don't say that.
Wow.
Just please stop telling us that. When you say you don't see color, that means you don't see us.
Exactly.
Or any of our struggles, or I mean, this is a hot button issue from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Okay, it recently came up.
It did.
And it was with Crystal, who's an Asian lady, but I loved that she just like immediately called out this chick Sutton and said, are you one of those girls who don't see color? I mean, even to get to the point to explain to people, what it feels like for someone to say, oh, I don't even like notice that you're Black. Like, really? You don't see me over here struggling? That's what it sounds like to me.
Or that I get treated differently, or I might make less than you, or
that
kind of things. My doctor doesn't listen to me, name them.
Well, that takes me to the comment by Jake Smith. Jackie, we can try, but I'm still going to see your race. I never asked for you to not see who I am. I am a female and I am Black. I never asked for you to not see it. What I'm saying is treat me like you would treat a human, a normal person. Don't see me as Black. Don't treat me like I'm Black or like you treat a woman. Stop doing that. Just treat me like I'm a human being.
Like,
okay?
Stop letting those stereotypes, those implications, those things that you connect in your mind. Like, is a woman capable of doing this? Oh, Black people don't like nerdy shit, so I'm not going to ask you to do this. It's like, don't get those preconceptions in your mind. And I feel like that's where we get held back the most, because you might have your own little individual hobby or something, and your friend knows, and then they're just like, oh, I didn't think that you liked that or whatever. And it's like, you're not seeing me as my individual self as well. So it's like, see me. I have these passions and all of these different things that I have going on,
But that doesn't mean that, you know, you should connect every stereotype that you have about women or about Black people and let that inform you. Talk to me. You know,
it's like going back to what Jackie was saying earlier about like trying to put you in a box, like especially because like, you know, I grew up a pretty open nerd. I was like such a history buff, and I was like really good at math, and I was also into sports. So like that pissed off a lot of people. Naturally, they were just like, what? Like you're a nerd? Like, nah, like we're gonna make fun of you endlessly for that. And it's just like, okay, so. But I mean, it's like, it sucks when people try to put you in those boxes, but like, yeah, repeating everything again, like just ask that you like see us as like without any of those filters. Like, okay, well, like recognize that we're Black women, but like treat us and listen to what we have to say as if like those filters put on by society aren't there. And then yes, like check your friends. We appreciate that. Big shout out to our tech guy over at Slow News Day, Sleepy J. He will check a motherfucker if they are chatting shit on women. It is so awesome.
Nice.
That's cool.
Nice.
Right. Yeah, being an ally is like a lot of work. Sorry, but also being Black is a lot of work. So what do you want?
For real.
Like, you can't
Definitely. It's one of those things too, like, and for white people watching this, like, that means that sometimes, like, yes, we can stand up for ourselves, but it goes a long way when it comes from you. That means that sometimes you might have to stand up to your friends. You might have to stand up to your family members. You might have to stand up to coworkers. If you see them doing these things, that some of the things that we talked about tonight, like sometimes you might have to be the one to be that voice, because we talk about these things and sometimes it can go in one ear and out the other. But I think for a white person to hear it from another white person, you may get a little bit further than we will.
That,
like what you were saying about Kyle Kulinski. I mean, maybe if some white leftists were like, Kyle, this is not actually the take, then maybe it would be received.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like there's so many times where it's like we can stand up for ourselves, but at the same time, there's only so far that our words will go. Like sometimes and it sucks that it has to be this way, but sometimes like we do need people to just like check their friends and check their family and check the people around them, because they're going to listen to them before they listen to us, even if we tell them the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. So
very true. Very true.
Homework assignment then.
Sad but true, yeah.
Someone's asking, what is JP? Don't.
What?
These comments are fun. I'm sorry. I wish you guys.
Comments are great. There's a lot of comments.
The comments in the chat, like I'm trying to keep up with them, but
okay, really quick.
Kobe asked for our Twitter accounts.
Yeah,
that's what
you can find me.
Doing that, everybody want to just give their Twitter handle so people can follow, because that's the one thing I see a lot in the chat.
My Twitter handle is pretty complicated, and I made it that way on purpose. It's at Dr. Glory JJJJJ, 5 J's 958. But it's okay, because there's not a lot of Glory Jones in the world. So if you just search up Glory Jones in Twitter, I'll come up with a hashtag Free Assange next to it, and it'll be like, my face and stuff with a paper that says we're Julian Assange. So yeah.
Mine is easy. I'm not a great Twitter person, so I'll do my best. But what is it?
One of these Keishas.
One of these Keishas. Yeah, Keishas is how you spell it.
No, but yours has a 1 in it.
I mean, if you just look up at one of these Keishas, it'll show up.
ONE or the number one?
ONE.
Okay.
All spelled out, yeah. Mine is Courtney Banks. Courtney with a C.
Mine is.
I don't know how to get into it. I'm sorry, Jackie. Go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. Mine is Poles Jackie, and my name on there is J motherfucking P. I did it. It happened.
And I think most of you guys probably have mine. Mine is Sabby Sabs, and it's the number 2 after it. I'm on there a lot. There's a question in the chat, and someone said, which are your favorite leftist shows other than FHL?
I was gonna say Friday After Leftist,
Oh God, I hate doing lists because I always feel like I'm forgetting someone. But
and they will be offended if you leave them out.
I know that's the thing. But obviously recommend everyone in MCSC Network, my fam. That includes which includes Slow News Day, Frank Analysis, Convo Couch, Facts on the Ground, Black Sheep Theory, Marcellus Wright, Robbie Yeager, who does great financial reporting, and obviously Slow News Day, and Nico House, and also what else? I recommend in terms of, because there are a lot of great foreign, kind of like foreign policy centered journalists. I recommend Vanessa Beeley, Eva Bartlett. I'm blanking, and I apologize for everyone I'm forgetting, but there's also I said Corey Morningstar, Whitney Webb. She's an amazing journalist. I'm like so blanking right now.
Lori, you're gonna need to tweet that list, please, because that was
yeah, for real.
Wow.
I know. There's a lot of good sources out there, and then the last thing I'll throw out is Propaganda Live.
Propaganda Live. I like it. Damn, I don't know what to say. You go. I don't.
But I feel like we dip our toes into just the news. Like, what do we? I mean, we do watch I watch Kyle and Jimmy and
Breaking
Hardlands Media. I don't know. I kind of just try to tap into everything, but we really want to do a first impressions of left media video. So I've been trying to hold back on some because I feel like we still have a very kind of fresh eyes perspective. And so I try to kind of not get too involved and see all the different channels, but I'm going to have to look at Glory's list.
Yeah.
Add Richard Medhurst too, because I forgot
Richard
I was on his damn show before.
You're canceled.
Ah, damn, I'm a Nazi now.
I like to listen to a little NPR podcast every now and then so I can know what the normal people are, what's in the zeitgeist, just to know what the hell they're talking about. As a point of
I'm
reference.
actually jealous that that's how you have to know what normal people are talking about. I have to hear it because I'm surrounded by shit libs. So I know what they're talking about. And like from hearing what people say, I'm like, oh, this must have been what the news story was about. Like when you hear people say like, wait, didn't blah, blah, blah happen? It's like, okay, so MSNBC had to have done a story about this. Like, because you just hear the same shit over and over again.
You can follow the line. Yeah.
I don't want to know what they do, but like my dad watches it constantly. Pretty much everybody that I'm physically around. Yeah. So like my bubble is on the internet, and I want to keep that bubble because real life is just shit. Everybody is a neolib, so.
I mean, our parents are hardcore neolibs, so we feel you. Like they think that democracy is like, intact and it's functioning. And like every time we say something about Joe Biden, she's just like, oh, why can't you just you always got to complain about something. I'm like, yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, why would you complain about one of the most racist presidents in history? Like, what's wrong?
Yeah, man. What is it that bothers you so much about war crimes?
Our mom was the first to integrate her schools in her county. And this woman, she's like, it's fine. Joe Biden's got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
He literally worked with segregationists to try to make sure that couldn't happen. But I mean, why would you complain about him? Like,
you still vote for the guy. You don't complain about it.
I feel that.
Granted,
I feel that, unfortunately.
Virginia is also a place where when the governor, was caught in blackface or whatever, our parents' really quick answer was just like, well, better the races that you know than the races that you don't know.
No, because when you know what this racist ass has been trying to do, no, fuck that. See, okay.
So we're around. So we get you. We're
Bro, I had to put a rule on my parents that they can't wear or show off anything that has like Malcolm X or MLK or Angela Davis on it without reading it. Because that's what I have to do. It's like no, you're not gonna. It's like if you're gonna like wear these people, then like honor them by learning what they're saying.
Right. Yeah, and get angry. I mean, they are not bad enough.
Quote.
Yeah, and I put that rule on my sister too, and it worked. So
their quotes get cut off because they were socialists, but they conveniently, the capitalists cut that part of the quote off, and you just hear "I have a dream," and everybody's like, "Oh, his dream is that like white people will sit next to black people." No, his dream is that capitalism ends. Finish the quote. Okay.
Yep. The three evils: extreme militarism, extreme materialism, and racism. Like
it's pretty much where we are.
Yeah.
Today or today? We're there today.
I'd say favorite leftist shows. Damn. See, when they say other than FHL, that just, I was like, but I know that's kind of biased, but I was like, who else was no, but for real, like to Glory's point, I would definitely say MCSC Network, because some of you know this if you saw the interview, but Nico was actually the first Black leftist commentator I saw on YouTube. He was the first one. And then after him, I found like Tim Black and then Jamal Thomas. But before I found Nico, I didn't even know we were out there.
Yeah, that's
I'm the opposite. I found Tim Black, then Jamal Thomas, then Nico.
Oh
yeah. I think mine was more like in that.
I think I remember I found Nico first because like I actually got to meet him in person because it was at like this Tulsi Gabbard event, and I went there and I met, and he was there in person, and I was like, oh, dope, freaking independent media getting on the ground. Don't see this every day.
Yes, that's why when we went to the Force the Vote protest, Bree, Joy Gray, Joy Gray. I was getting confused with the
Joy Gray
character. She was standing right next to us, and I was like, and we were like, should we try to talk to her? Should we not try to talk to her? She seems like she's thinking about stuff. She's busy. But yeah, I love seeing like real, like actual, like I think. I mean, Lee Camp was there. Lee does good work too. There were a lot of really good speakers. Savage Joy was there at that one that we went to and spoke. So
Fiorella from the Convo Couch was at Force the Vote. Yeah,
she was there the next
MCSC.
day, the Assange one. Yeah,
yeah. So the people I listen to, I don't watch that much anymore, just because it's fucking depressing. But I tend to watch the most Jamal Thomas, and I used to watch Kyle Kulinski.
I'm sorry, Jackie.
Yeah, Sabby was like, not anymore. So I also used to watch like a while, like maybe a year ago, I watched like Rising, but then once they started pushing for Joe Biden, I was like, nah, I'm done. So I stopped watching them. Pretty much that was when I stopped watching a lot. As soon as people were like, you have to vote for Joe Biden, I was like, I don't have to listen to you. So
I didn't think Rising, because I didn't think they pushed so much. I just felt that they were like, it's kind of the option that it feels like we have to make. But I can see what you're saying.
They did it. The problem to me was they did it before Bernie was out. And it took them a while to acknowledge that the primaries were rigged, because they just kept saying that the primaries were rigged by Obama having everybody drop out.
Right.
No, that was the cover. They were going to rig them. They had been rigging them since Iowa.
Right.
But they needed the cover of, everybody voted for Biden because of blah, blah, blah. When in reality, behind the scenes, they were still rigging them because the exit polls are way off.
Yes.
So they were like actually rigged, and I'm like, you guys are the best people to cover that, and they just dropped the ball.
Yeah, the exit polls situation. That's true. I forgot about that. Those.
Oh my god, I hate it when people dismiss that so much. It's like, and that like kind of plays into like how people won't listen to you if you're not a white man. Sometimes it's like, I received certification to be a voting systems technician in 2020 for the Florida's 23rd district primary between Jen Perlman and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, because I wanted to see what was up with our shite voting system. So I got certified to be a VST, and then a couple months before that, I was in a board of supervisors meeting, sat there for 8 hours to talk about election integrity, done like tons of research on top of that. And like, I would bring stuff up like that, and people would be like, oh no, maybe you should wait until Greg Palast says something. And it's like, no, I know my shit on this.
But that's the thing too, though. You went out and you got like a certification, and like, I feel like Black women, I usually I'll like take a class before I do something, or I just want to like make sure I know. And I feel like that's another, I mean, it's a total privilege that white people have, especially white men. But I mean, just that they say things as fact, like that's the fact. Oh, did I go get a thing? No, I didn't go get extra classes for it. No, that's just, I know. And like, wow, that's such a privilege. I can't believe that you did that.
Well, the privilege is not just in them being able to say it, but in the fact that they don't have to corroborate everything.
They don't have to prove their work. They don't have to show their work.
No, everything we say, we have to, like, literally anything. Whenever I say anything political in real life, I have every single person that I say it to hits me up with, where did you hear that? Where did you find that?
Right.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I have to talk in such succinct facts just to be like, this isn't emotional. This isn't, any other thing you're going to try to put on it. These are the facts. This is better for everybody. And it does suck that I feel like we have to be so on point. And even still, sometimes it's like, who's listening to us?
I know. It's like, I could literally be at an event. There will be times when it's like, okay, we'll prove you saw this. I was there.
I'm there. Right. So,
I was there. It's like people will tell me prove how you know that there was rigging in the 2020 primary between Debbie and Jen. It's like, I was part of the audit, the Broward County audit, and I knew how the machines worked, and I have pictures of the poll tapes and machines that were breaking down and showing signal issues. So
I know, right?
Or like at a protest, it'll be like, oh, how did you know that this happened at a protest? It's like, I was there.
Right. Yeah, they never. I mean, you can see that in the media, especially at protests too. Like just the way that it's reported versus, like,
oh my God, bro.
We were at the Black Lives. We were at one of the early ones for George Floyd last year in LA, and when the cop car got on fire, and we saw two undercover cops. I'm pretty sure, because we had never been gone to a protest really in this situation. So I was like, I'm pretty sure those are undercover cops. Like, they were just two white guys with like backwards hats on and like boots. And I was like,
they're always easier to spot than you think, honestly.
Right. But then the people that they had burn the car were like, I feel like they used to their advantage the fact that, okay, it's a pandemic. People are out of work. People are looking for any way to make a little bit of cash. Because it was like 4 or 5 skater kids dressed in all black who set this old cop car on fire that was not a cop car that LA cops use. And you would never see, that story doesn't get reported. It's like all the violence. And that's where we feel, like, how do we get our stories out to even be believed?
Right.
And we're right there.
I know.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I try to listen to other things that are going on, because I'm like, because during that instance, we came home from that protest and we're literally watching TV and then like watching Kendrick Sampson like on Instagram Live and like being like, this is not what's happening.
Right.
And then trying to your parents, your super, neo-lib parents, that, that's not what's happening. And the news is not reporting the news to you.
They were showing the fight, like they were showing an aggression from people from the BLM protests. Like, right after the cops had thrown stuff at them and shot at them. And it's like,
so they shoot the reaction, but not the action.
Exactly.
And the actions were almost all started by the cops.
Yeah.
And then the news cameras were like, okay, we caught the whole thing. And then the editors were like, yes, we caught the whole thing.
We got it.
It's like there was literally a rally I was at, I think it was in Beverly Hills, where it was like a counter protest to the Freedom Rally, and someone got maced at it, and that whole clip was going viral. And I'm just like, you do realize I was at that rally and I was actually talking to some of these people, and like I literally got like one or two Trump supporters to like realize that they're wrong about Western chauvinism. And I'm like, dude, well, where are the cameras on this? Right. And it's like, oh, like ruthless Antifa mob comes to terrorize Beverly Hills. It's like, what do you mean? I wasn't even wearing all black that day. It was too hot. Like, I wasn't even blocked up that day.
I like that you're also practical.
I know.
No, it's
that's another way to tell out someone if someone's an undercover, if they're like all blocked out and it's like bright in the and it's like, you know, bright sunny in the afternoon. It's like, okay, you're making it too easy.
I see you.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because like I went to Bernie's rally in Boston, and they said it was over like 10,000 people there. I believe it, because it was like packed, like on Boston Common. And what I noticed when I got home that night and I was watching like, you know, clips of it on local news, they like didn't put any black people in the shots. And like, granted, there weren't like tons of black people there, but there was like 7 black people on the stage behind Bernie just alone. And I noticed that like they were like, well, the Bernie bros are here. And I'm like, dude, they totally excluded all the black people that were at the rally. They didn't even put them in the video footage.
Status Quo actually did a thing about that during that time. He showed exactly what they were doing. When you came in with Bernie signs, if you were a person of color, they put you off to the side so that they could easily crop you out. And they did that intentionally because they have an agenda. The agenda is Bernie bros are all white. So all the black people are off in the side, all the Latinos, all the women, they're all off to the side. The only thing you're allowed to see are white dudes because that's what they want you to see. And he showed how he showed up to it was one of the, I think it was either a debate or something. It was something where like all the candidates were going to be there. And he showed how they only let a few of the Bernie people go through so that it sounded like he didn't have enough support, so that whenever you heard people cheering for Bernie, it would sound like, oh. But when you heard Biden, it would sound like, yeah. So it would, like, they did that intentionally. They were trying to control the image. And like, whenever you watch any of the debates, you notice anytime Bernie made a point, it landed on deaf ears. But anytime somebody like Pete Buttigieg or Kamala Harris made a point, because they only let the people in who were rooting for them, because they want the nation to see Bernie is just like, he's an outcast. Nobody likes him. It's just a bunch of white boys that are like Bernie bros, and black people would never vote for him. When the truth is, black people would never vote for Buttigieg.
Exactly.
No,
black people also, this is my moment to be controversial. Black people would never vote for Kamala Harris. I would just like to point out that every single one of us, every single one of us got the same number of delegates as Kamala Harris. Just saying it.
I would just like to point out, as a member of the Jamaican diaspora here, fuck Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Oh, she's been I mean, as if she couldn't get any more problematic. Like, just it's getting worse and worse. But that's
go ahead, Glory.
Oh, I was just like, oh God.
No, it's like at one point, like during the primary, she had 1% of support from black voters.
And it was probably just the same women answering over and over again, because you know that's how they do.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, you can vote twice.
I mean, they're still a strong force, her supporters. Yeah. It's just so upsetting to me. It's like, how do we reach those people? Like, I guess that's like where my mind goes is, can you reach a K-Hive person? Like, there are some things that I've seen where I feel like there were a few issues. I don't know what it was. I feel like it was recent. Maybe I'll remember that I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can agree with this. But for the most part, I see a lot of K-Hive people defend things like us not getting a $15 minimum wage, because it goes because Kamala can't be wrong. And it's like, why are you so the same stuff that we say about Trump and about, the Republicans and all this blind loyalty and all that? How do they not see that in themselves? I just don't. The brain, like, I don't understand how we break through that kind of propagandizing,
You don't, because they don't want to see anything else, because they're not leftist, they're liberals. True. They don't actually. So this is when I say things like they're not leftist, they're liberals. What I mean by that, to clarify for people who don't know, a liberal does not actually want things to change. They are comfortable. Right. They personally have health care. When you ask them, they say, yes, it would be nice if everyone could have health care. But then you present a policy, and that policy may take away the health care that they currently have. And they'll say, oh, no, absolutely not.
Right.
Okay, that's a liberal. A leftist is out in the streets. A leftist is calling out politicians, because a leftist knows that until we're all equal, none of us are.
Right.
That's a leftist. We're leftists. Liberals are the ones who, and this is why Kamala, like a majority of her fans, pretty much all of the K-Hive, it's white women who, comes full circle. It ties back to that question from earlier. Who treats black women worse, white women or white men? Mm-hmm. It's white women who are attacking black women when we explain why we don't like Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Yeah, I got put on so many block lists. I got into one argument with someone in the K-Hive about Syria. Immediately after that, suddenly all the tweets about Kamala are disappearing from my timeline. I'm like, yo, what's up? And then a friend of mine who was a Tulsi supporter was like, oh yeah, you probably got put on a block list. I'm on those too. I'm like, sweet. Cleanse my timeline for me then. Wow. Like, bro, and I got caught, especially the K-Hive. The K-Hive called me like a damn self-hating Jamaican too, because I was going at Obama. Yeah. I mean, nice things to say about him either.
We could switch to Obama hate. I'm down for that. Like,
let's do it, because to me, I mean, the most.
Savvy's like, I just lost this whole stream.
This is like therapy now.
I mean, the thing, I felt I'm like late to the party, like I had a corporate job and I was doing great in capitalism, and everything was going smooth, and I think that I was just like, oh, Obama, he's so great, he's so fantastic, but I was so convinced. I mean, I lived with young organizers who went and saw him when he was still still a nobody, and nobody knew, and they were so excited to go see this guy. And I, took it hook, line, and sinker. And it wasn't until these last couple of years when I've had to seriously reflect about, what actually was done, what actually happened during his administration, and think to myself, like, okay, I might have been wrong. Let me walk it back. And to me, the biggest problem is that why can't people walk it back? Why can't you be like, I was duped.
Nobody.
I thought, I thought this guy was going to be our savior. I thought, and like, now that I see what he's doing, like, I need people to take the time to say, I was wrong. I'm going to rethink it. Let's,
but not even that you were wrong, but that you were lied to. That's what it's like, you were also lied to. So why that's what it's always like, you, the voter, it's your fault. You, the person who doesn't support. It's like, well, okay, well, I gave my few little pennies I had to this person and put all my hope into it. And I mean, this is my fault. It's like, it's so crazy that it always comes down to that, or then you're not black because you're not voting a certain way, or you're,
right. Oh my God.
Back on us. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you have to take into consideration that, I mean, look, I don't know what Obama's fucking politics are, but maybe this guy was a pawn, or maybe whatever. I mean, you just got to take all these other things into consideration. You can't just blindly say, every Black leader is our savior, because as we have seen, that is not the case.
Yeah, they're not.
Kinfolk and kinfolk.
I know. It's like what Fred Hampton said. You got Negro capitalists and Negro imperialists, and those are the people in power.
Mm-hmm.
It's
right.
I mean, those are the only like Black politicians that get uplifted, is the ones that do like sell out and then go back on to harm their people, go back on to do stuff like militarize the police, like what Obama did, or completely clamp down on the Ferguson uprising and Standing Rock, or bring slavery back to Libya and fund terrorists in Syria. It's
yeah. I mean, you have to want to do the work, just like how we were talking about white guys and like how they need to do the work. As a Reformed Democrat, I need to do the work of, going back and being like, oh, what happened when I was voting for all these Democrats? What were they really doing? What was really going on? You have to go back on your own and look through that and see, and then think to yourself, okay, is that still who I want to be rocking with, or do I want to do something else? Right. I mean, just like you would in any relationship. Right, like, I think that this person abused me. Maybe I should kind of look through this for a second, and and we really have. I do think that so many Americans, I think we are abused, and we take so much bullshit from our politicians, and we're just like, yeah, I guess scraps are good, because what am I gonna do? Like, speak out and then be ostracized from society, because I don't. Right. That's really what it is. I think they have us in such that a vice of everybody's a Republican or a Democrat. And if you're not, I mean, what are you really trying to do here? Mm-hmm. Like, and if, Democrats, not really. Like, I'm way past a Democrat, and it's like, what do I do? Yeah. What do I do? What do we do?
Another thing about Obama too, even today, he keeps coming out to speak out against
progress.
Oh
my God.
Like when when defunding the police was like, at that point it was popular, right? Like it was actually polling pretty higher than I think they thought it would. And then here comes Obama's like, hey, I'm back. And he's just like, I don't think this is a good idea, because people are going to get the wrong message from it. It's not something we should really do. And he got a lot of pushback on that. And I don't think he was really expecting all those people to be like, no, what are you talking about? And so then he kind of like backed off.
Mm-hmm. Or like the NBA strike. Everybody, gave Laura Ingraham shit, rightfully so, when she said shut up and dribble, but it's like
that's what Obama said.
Exactly.
Same exact thing.
They didn't even miss one game.
Yeah, and arguably at a worse moment, because there was a legitimate strike going there. Like, that would have been huge.
He just undercuts the legs of these of anything that has any kind of breath. And to me, it's just like, okay, I could understand the argument that when he was president, he was controlled. He was trying, fine. Anything you want to say when he was president, that's fine. But he hasn't been president for quite some time. And then the only time he does seem to step in is to only thwart progressive initiatives. Yes. And it's like, you could say whatever you wanted to. He should have supported the NBA thing. You could be as black as you want to now, because you're not Joe Biden's best friend or whatever the fuck it is. And he doesn't do that. And the fact that people don't see that and say, okay, I did give him a little grace period there, but now he's doing some shady shit. The fact that people can't make that connection, or that, I understand it's almost like a death or something, because he was this hope for us. But you have to accept, yes, that we were lied to. I mean, there was
I was cast. Yeah. I was in 2008? Yeah, I was in whatchamacallit, the cafeteria. I was in like third
grade.
Yeah. I was in third grade then. I was in the cafeteria, and we were watching the inauguration on TV. And I was like, damn, that man kind of looks like my dad, and like, a little 8-year-old glory mine. And I was so happy about that. And I genuinely thought it was cool that we had a president that played basketball and filled out March Madness brackets and all that. And then I grew up and I was like, wait a minute. There's slave markets in Libya. This man got up in a room full of people that were poisoned in Flint, Michigan, and pretended to sip their water. He's a false prophet.
Yep. And did that in front of an audience full of Black people too.
I know. Like, if that doesn't turn you, come on.
Right.
so
At some point,
bad.
you have to just see the facts for what the facts are, and just move on from there.
Like, you can argue,
Joe
okay,
Biden.
maybe the foreign policy side was Hillary Clinton. Maybe all the police stuff was Joe Biden. Like, maybe there were other people influencing him. But that was him in Flint that pretended to sip that water. That was him that got up in that press conference during the Ferguson uprising and called everyone thugs, which everyone rightfully got mad at Trump for. Like, that was Obama's own words doing that. Nah.
Yep. Right.
Yep.
Damn. Yep. That's what it is.
Yeah. So to me, with like what you guys just said about like when you were saying, maybe you could give him all these excuses while he was president, but after he's president, you have to look at his actions. To me, when you see his actions post presidency, that explains his actions during his presidency. He never was that person. He was just pretending. This was all an act.
It's terrifying.
He's essentially just a Republican that he's a Republican that took advantage of identity politics to get to power. That's who he was.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, I feel like he really took up the civility. There's like a civility charge, or like, I'm not really sure to explain
it's the civility.
Because basically where we're at in total climate collapse and can't get a $15 minimum wage and you have to pay to work at Amazon. It's like all these, where we are at is so dire. How could you not be angry? How could you not be cursing? But the second that you do, a centrist or a neo-lib is going to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to engage in that kind of conversation, or that completely takes the legs out from it. And I felt like he engaged and enhanced that civility kind of complex of, oh, well, this is the way everything needs to be talked about, where it's like, no, I'm pissed. And I don't have time to Obama this right now. Actually, we have a problem. So
yeah, it's like, it's our natural human reaction. Mm-hmm. Like, it's suppressing humanity to say, oh, you can't be angry about something that'll naturally make you angry. Right, it's so like asinine to like think about that.
Well, it's another way to shut us up and to get us to, as long as they like tone policing, is just policing. It's just a way to get you to react the way they want you to react. And eventually they'll just get you to go back to work.
Yep.
And they'll get you to stop talking about it.
Of course.
So when people try to tone police me, I just get louder. I'm like, oh, you don't like the way I said that? Well, fuck you.
Yeah.
You don't like that I said fuck you? Well, then fuck the horse you rode in on. Like, we're just gonna keep.
And then
going.
I got some for you too.
Keep riding.
I hope y'all know this was explicit, because like if you invite me, it has to be.
Sorry.
Oh, same. Same. Same.
That's not a Black woman
thing. Exactly.
That's
we're not doing all that. I can't also think of like policing myself during this.
Oh no, it's a me thing for sure. I'm definitely very explicit, especially when I get on the ground.
I love that.
Well, I mean, and like it's on the come up too, because like you go to a protest in LA and you got people shouting like fuck 12, fuck 12, fuck 12, fuck 12. And it's like, yeah, okay, I'm down with it.
You ride that wave for sure.
I know, because it fits me. So it's like, yeah.
LA is one of the best places to protest, I'll say, just because of the weather, but it's okay.
Yeah.
For right now, anyways.
I want to go to one more comment in the chat, and then I'll move towards wrapping up because I just looked at the time. But Jay-Z Baker said it might not be popular, but AOC is similar to Obama in the way she was portrayed who she was, in the way she portrayed who she was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Hot take.
That's
a good one.
I feel like where we're at is that, like, this is where I'm at. It's like, I don't want to be the person who's like, oh, I'm just gonna, it seems that I'm going against even the representatives we do have. But I also feel like this happens a lot in disaster movies or you know, like you'll see all the signs that some disaster is going to come. You know, it's like, oh, there's a crack in the ground over there. Like, oh, there's I think this part of the building's coming down, but everybody just acts like everything is fine. I just feel like we see the signs, but we don't really want to say it because I don't want to be harsh. But I mean, like, why would you give my little bit of money to a centrist Democrat? I gave that to you. You know, like those little signs. And I feel like there are those things, but when you're in the moment, it sounds so harsh to say. And it almost seems like we are being too harsh on AOC. But I mean, every little thing you do, you know that has to count. And every time you can fight for us, you got to take that opportunity. And if you don't, I mean, they voted in a way that made the Capitol Police budget go through. I mean, just to vote for president. So there are signs.
I would say I don't think it's that harsh because of what she ran on.
I don't think it's harsh at all.
Milquetoast stuff, then it will be harsh. But she ran on. She's about to come in and change things. She doesn't care if she's only in there for one term. Like she came so hard. I mean, literally, we went to a Bernie rally in Venice, and the guy next to us that we made friends with, he was like, "She's gonna be the next president." I mean,
that guy was inspired. He was a bro.
He was a bro, and like. You can't come hard like that and then think that people aren't going to watch what you're actually doing with your money, what you're actually doing to make change happen. And especially when you do like a grassroots thing, like, you know, like trying to get people to give, you know, $10 here and $20 there, you have like a serious, you know, amount of people to be accountable for. It's easier, obviously, if you have one, you know, a couple
one big donor,
corporate sponsor, fine. But like when you actually have people to be accountable for, it's so much more egregious when you just don't follow through at all.
I'm gonna be their anger translator. They were like way too nice, right? A couple notches.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Bitch, when we give you money, see, okay, when I was a kid, this is the way my parents raised me. They were like, if you earn your money yourself, you can do with it whatever you want. And we as your parents aren't going to tell you what to do with it. If you want to buy some stupid ass thing, you're wasting your money. But hey, it's your money. You spend it how you want. But if I give you money, you have to do with it what I told you to do. So if I give you money to put in the church plate, I better not find out you bought some ice cream.
Ooh, you better not do that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
So
Especially
that's the first
plate.
principle. Speaking of the money, that's a misappropriation of funds. People didn't give those corporate people money because they could have. We know how to get a hold of them. We gave you money and we voted for you because we sent you to fight for us. And if you're not doing that, you're not doing your job. And we are going to say some shit. We got some shit to say. For example, who the hell told y'all to abstain voting? No. We said force the vote.
Yeah.
We didn't say vote maybe or I'm just going to pass. Nah, bitch, you have an opinion. We put you there because of your opinion.
Exactly.
If you're not going to do what we said, we're going to take you out. We'll put somebody else in there. So this is why we're so hard on, because a lot of people are like, don't be mean to the people, to the few people who might sometimes maybe do something that could possibly help us down the line. Nah, fuck that. Are you going to be the Joe Manchin that we need you to be? Because progressives need a Joe Manchin. Progressives need somebody to be like, nah, I ain't saying shit. You're going to do what we want, or I'm not going to vote for this.
We don't have time to wait around.
Where Democrats need all the votes.
Like,
That's
don't have time.
So
we just don't have time to wait around for, like, you know, AOC to make it up in the ladder enough so she can do something, or another progressive to come in, 15 more progressive. No. We don't have time for that. And I mean, like, besides
that doesn't work because the more
besides the domestic
stuff, the worse they vote.
Yeah, besides the domestic stuff, there's the fact that she freaking met with Bolivian coup leaders. She deferred to party leadership on Venezuela, which involved sanctioning the shit out of people. She stayed pretty fucking silent on Syria as they're being bombed and sanctioned. She gaslit people who were calling her out for not calling out Joe Biden enough over the fact that migrant facilities on the border are being militarized and are ridden with cases of sexual assault and abuse. And like you expect us to just be like, oh no, because maybe she'll get us, I don't know, Medicare expansions, not even Medicare for all anymore.
Cobra,
and it's like, maybe she'll do this. Oh my God,
we're gonna get rid of
Twitch
Panko.
stream? No way. She's one of us. Nah. Like
No.
I'm done waiting. I'm done waiting around for politicians to make their mind. It's either like use your leverage on them that you have with the public pressure campaign, or just no. Like I'm done enabling this system.
A part of me, okay, one last controversial thing, but a part of me did think, was this girl really a bartender? Because I was a bartender and I have a drinking problem, and not that put together. Was this girl a bartender? Yeah.
For what it's worth, I think a lot more people are questioning that than you think.
Yeah. A
lot more people are questioning her past than you think, which makes sense because for how she frames herself, she falls in line with the CIA quite a lot.
Too easy, right? Like
yeah. So yeah, that to me, the whole notion of like, because she to me, she's worse than just she doesn't fight for the things we tell her to fight for. Not only does she not fight for those things, but then she turns around and tries to shame us for telling her to fight for the thing that we put her in there for. Yes. Like, perfect example with force to vote. She was like, we can't do force to vote. And then literally a week later, she's telling us how she's using our very same reasons as to why we need to force the vote. She's giving us those reasons back as to why it's important to impeach a president that was already leaving office.
Right.
He was already impeached once. You knew he wasn't going to be removed from office. And by the time the impeachment trial happened, he was going to be gone from office. But please tell me how we need to do that, but we don't need to fight for healthcare for everybody during a pandemic. Please tell me why. Please explain to me why everybody getting healthcare. By the way, U.S. is one of the only nations in the world to not have healthcare for all of its citizens in some form of another. But we need to impeach Trump again.
Tell me how that's going to be a detriment to your campaign to say, I was one of the only people in a pandemic to put everything I had on the line for healthcare for everybody.
Right.
Nobody told me how that's a detriment. I don't understand. I mean, if you can
and
see
she
people who talk about the stimulus.
She completely threw press freedom and political prisoners under the damn bus. When she was asked about Julian Assange, and she said, "Oh, we have considerations and concern about releasing him. The dude is being tortured for releasing war crimes."
Right.
Mm-hmm. Way to throw journalism under the bus. Thanks for that, AOC. Willing
because she was the one when she first got in there. She was the one giving us all the inside information. Like, she was the one saying, "Oh, here's what's happening in our closed closet meetings," and now she's the one who's saying that, she's the one basically capping for the establishment, because again, she doesn't just not push for progressive policies, but now she's actually making excuses for essentially no policies. Right. Like, for example, the kids in the cages. Well, they're not cages now. Now we updated the terms, so now they're detainment facilities. They're the same fucking thing. The actual establishment has not changed. Liberals just want to clean it up so it sounds nicer. Which, by the way, is Joe Biden. They didn't like Trump because he sounded dirty. They just wanted a cleaned up version of Trump.
It wasn't Joe Biden,
and that's all Joe Biden is. He's Trump, just cleaned up.
It's Trump like, bro, these politicians were tweeting about how uncomfortable and how unpolite Trump is while they're on the way to like authorize an eviction or authorize another war crime.
Right. I think the worst part is that they just think we're so stupid. Like, I'm just so sick of people thinking we're stupid. Like, we see what you're doing. We're on to it. I mean, the only problem is, like, not everyone is on to it yet. But right. And then when you do say the truth, then people... That's why they, invented the whole conspiracy theory and all this kind of stuff. Like, once you're on the truth, it's like, oh, well, obviously this person's crazy. Like, it just makes me think back to all the people when I was younger, watching people like chain themselves to trees or chain themselves in front of a bulldozer. And it's like, yeah, that's what other choice do we have? Like, now I'm seeing it and I'm like, yeah, we got to do that. But they make it seem like that's so crazy. And it's like, to what? To fight for a planet, to fight for a living wage, to fight for healthcare. That's not the crazy position. The crazy position is that we don't have any of these things. I mean, what are y'all accepting? That doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't believe that we haven't burned everything to the ground already.
Thank you. Oh my God. Okay, so this is like my favorite. Like, when I meet people, I'm like, okay, what do you think it's going to take for us to get to an Arab Spring? That's like my meet cute question. Like, what is it going to take? Because
I don't even know.
At this point, I mean, we've been through a pandemic. Like, I mean, we're not on bread lines yet, obviously, because the people who are like, what is it called? PMC,
professional managerial class.
Right. Yeah. These people are doing great, doing better than expected. Buying new houses and moving out into suburbia or whatever. What's it going to take for people to say enough is enough? We have to, bring out the guillotines. Like, I mean, we need to get serious about this. I hate that the insurrection happened because I feel like it took away so much of our power. And I think that was purposeful. Because now if we as leftists are like, okay, well, now we're about to go and
storm the Capitol and get the shit we need
on some real shit, though, like on things that we actually need, it's going to be a problem.
And it's also like made it, so where that the context is that, oh my God, Americans going to fight for, in this situation, obviously, like, the election, but we should actually be able to go storm the Capitol for healthcare. I mean, the French do that shit all the time. They're just
not even like storming the Capitol, just like a strike or a sit-in or like a tax strike.
I feel like people are not willing right now to put any effort in. I mean,
like an Occupy style thing, kind of.
Yes, exactly.
Where it's just like go to your government outlets, go to like the outlets of like big tech, or go to like private companies or your police stations or freaking private policing firms like Palantir or something like that, and just like occupy those spaces that enable the national security state. Like, say, no, we're gonna stand here together, united, and we're not gonna take this anymore. We're not gonna take this endless surveillance and oppression of all of us, because it's disgusting.
It's like we've surpassed so many tipping points, and nothing has happened. I just can't understand what it is that's going to take people over the line to, join us and be like, okay, we have to actually like put some things into action now.
Do you want to know what it's going to take?
Tell me. Yes.
It's going to take, so far, all of the issues that have happened haven't really affected the managerial class. Mm-hmm. It is going to take the managerial class being uncomfortable, not just at a base level. They're going to have to be uncomfortable to the extent where, just like the rest of us, when they discover that things have changed permanently and they can't get that level of comfort back,
right.
That's when they will be like, oh, something has to be done. Mm-hmm. It's that same thing of like, how Republicans are like, or at least back in the day, they used to be like, completely against gay marriage and even gay people until their son was gay or their daughter was gay or their sister or their somebody they knew. It's the same thing with the managerial class. Mm-hmm. That's how the income level. I can almost tell you exactly what the income level is. Yeah. It's the people that go between 100,000 and 1 million.
Yep.
Annually. Those people need to become uncomfortable permanently.
Yeah.
And then they will say something must be done. And then they will organize, they'll get unions together and they'll organize everybody getting in the streets. Mm-hmm. Until then, when it's just poor people, somebody will come along to tell us to shut up, or Joe Biden will like take away our platform, whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
plus that class is a lot closer to being homeless than they are to being a billionaire.
But they don't know that.
They don't know that.
Is
our messaging is all wrong. Like, I feel like we say this on our podcast a lot. If you are working, if you have to work to pay your bills, you're part of the working class. If you're not, dodging inheritance taxes and shit like that, you're part of the working class. I don't care if you're making $500,000 a year. You're still part of the working class, and you need to be with us. And you need to be, you need to get involved in what's actually happening. I mean, I think that I totally agree. Until this level of like these people who really think that they're so far above us and in such a different class that these things don't affect them, like, until we can find a way to affect them and get it into their brains that, I mean, how it can't get into their brains at this point. I mean, you're not Jeff Bezos. Like, that's like the easiest way to say it is like, you're not Jeff Bezos, so you should be with us.
But how many people, it's the mindset. It's a cultural mindset because it's like hustle culture, right? And like boss babe. And how many people simp for Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett?
Yeah,
it's this mindset that I can be, if I just work a little bit harder, if I just try a little bit harder, I can be wealthy like them.
Right. Yep.
And they don't, they can't, that mindset doesn't allow for, if one thing goes wrong, you could be homeless like other people, or you could be jobless and barely able to make it. Like, that's why I don't like it when people say things like, oh, that homeless guy's driving a BMW, he's not broke. Because you could be in a nice house and have one thing happen, like say the stock market crash, you lose all of your assets, including that house. The only thing you have left is the car that you have paid off. And everybody's assuming that because you have a nice car, that means automatically you have a nice lifestyle. No, because again, you could lose the rest of that lifestyle. And it, like, I've seen situations where people had a car that they've paid off, and in order to trade it in to get a cheaper car, they wouldn't really get any more money. So you may as well just keep the car you have.
Yep.
So a lot of people don't understand that, like, even with everything you have being paid off, if you lose your income, you could still lose everything.
Yep.
And even though you've paid off your house, something could happen, an illness could strike or something that ends up making you lose the assets you already have. And you are still closer to being homeless than you are being Warren Buffett or Elon Musk.
Yes.
All of those men were born with money, and they took daddy's money and made more. Right. They're not actually self-made. They were born that way.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
Especially like Black people, we don't have a lot of generational wealth like that. Like,
well, because anytime, like, think of all the times, like all the Black Wall Streets. We like to say Black Wall Street like it was one. There were multiple throughout this country, and every single time they were burned to the ground.
They were a threat.
Yeah. They were a threat. Yeah. So, and to me, that's what reparations should be for. Yes, but we should get reparations for being the descendants of slaves, but we should also get reparations for the times that we were able to build Black wealth and it was taken from us. We should get reparations for the millions of people who've been hung throughout this country for nothing other than being Black. We should get reparations for the Black churches that were burned with innocent people inside of them and little kids, and they all died. That's what we should get reparations for. Let's not act like Joe Biden, like it was all slavery and that was just your ancestors. Right. Nah, this was you. You did some shit too.
This was the stuff that he did. Thank you.
The dude gave a eulogy to Strom Thurmond.
His dog was named after it.
Yes.
Like, we see you. It's
So let me tell you a little something about Strom Thurmond. I went to University of South Carolina. Strom Thurmond's name, this man's name is on so many buildings. And it was like frustrating to see that in downtown Columbia, that this man is still honored in some way. And what was really interesting, during that same time on the local news, there was a Black woman on there. She was biracial. And guess who she was? She was Strom Thurmond's daughter. And all that time, people did not know that Strom Thurmond had a Black daughter.
What?
She said he took care of her financially, made sure she went to the best schools. And Strom Thurmond was a segregationist. Now he didn't even want black people to be at the same schools as the white kids. So he was a strong advocate for segregation. This is where him and Joe Biden go hand in hand. And so, but that same guy had a black daughter, didn't come out till I was like a senior at the University of South Carolina. And his daughter passed away a couple years ago. And this is the point I try to drive home to people when they say things like they're not racist because they have a black friend, or they're not racist because they have a black husband or a black biracial kid.
Whatever,
you can still, you could have a black boyfriend, friend or child, and still not like black people.
It's not even about the liking. It's about I think it's because, I mean, in our family, you can tell we're light as hell. So there was a lot of sharecropping rape involved. And not to say land was passed, okay, to certain people. And you can feel guilty. That's something that you can do, sure. But I mean, what was I saying? I got so excited about just the fact that, like, what you were saying. I'm sorry. Forget what I was saying.
Sorry. I don't know.
About Strom Thurmond? No,
yeah, I mean that you can. I mean, I've seen plenty of people who have black kids, like in that situation, who did the right thing, and that doesn't stop the fact that they still want to protect the structure of what gives them power, And it's like, oh, okay, I can have that one little. I'm a good person, I guess that makes me a good person, and it's like,
it's like the sentiment that realistically, black people are human beings, so you can in fact like a black person, like one black person, but if you're constantly working to fight against the things that black people need, and I mean, you just can't. I understand as a white person, it's probably hard for them to grasp the idea, that it's terrible to just like one black person and then have these ideas. But I mean, we're humans, so you have to be able to hold that in your mind that yes, I could be in love or enjoy the company of this one black person, but I don't want all black people having things like this person this is my person. I don't need all these I don't know these other motherfuckers. I don't need them all getting shit. Like
almost, and also just like back to tokenism, but I mean, like, this is my black person, or this is my black thing, and I feel like white people do that to you. They're like, you're my black friend, and you're like, okay, I'm
it's like you can even be black and still be anti-black. I mean, Obama, Kamala Harris. I mean, going back throughout history, like the freaking Ashanti kings that sold West Africans like from Ghana into slavery. Like,
and we're doing it now. I mean, like Clyburn selling us out for healthcare. I mean, it goes on and on. And
there's some. I saw a TikTok the other day. I'm not sure how true it is, but she presented some evidence that J. Edgar Hoover was black. That he was like half black and white passing.
Really?
And that's why he hated black people so much.
I will tell you that
but Hitler was Jewish. You can be a thing and hate that thing.
Yeah.
Like Pete Buttigieg pretty much.
Except Sean King isn't black.
Stand being gay. He said that in one of his speeches. So you can be a thing and still hate it. Just because you are the thing or just because you know somebody who's the thing doesn't mean. Basically, if you have a black friend and you treat that black friend like they're a pet, you are not a friend of black people. Okay. If you have to treat black people like we're humans. That's how you know that you're actually an ally. But if I'll just real quick. If you're wondering like, is that me? Do you know how many black friends you have? If you do, yes.
Right.
Okay. Ooh. If you automatically know the number. Now, it's one thing if you live in an area where there are no black people and you only know a black person because that's the only black person, that's one thing. But if you're in an area like Los Angeles or something where, there's all kinds of people, but you know the exact number of any type of a friend, be it how many female friends you have, how many black friends you have, how many white friends you have, that means in your mind you are categorizing people.
Right.
Whew.
So yes, it applies to you.
But also trying to meet like a checklist in your own mind to be like, I'm a well-rounded person. I've got a Black friend. I've got a queer. I've got a woman. I mean,
Yeah. See, again, it's
binders full of
in those
women.
boxes.
right.
Or you're friends with Glory, and you check all the boxes.
It's like, yeah, I got the Black, I got the young, I got the women, I got the diaspora. Nice.
You're invited to all the parties.
I want to answer something really quick. Anthony Reyes asked, so JP is for capitalism if they gave reparations out. I never said that, and I never implied that. I am at heart an anarchist, but in reality a socialist. So no, I'm not. None of that is capitalism. Me explaining why we deserve reparations does not mean I'm pro-capitalism all of a sudden. Just to clarify.
Right. Yes.
All right, I'm going to end it with this question. Jake Smith said, are there any advantages of being Black?
Sure, we have rhythm. We can cook. We can.
I mean, we look young.
Black
don't crack.
We're in our 40s.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
We are inherently cooler than everyone else. Controversial, but I don't care.
There's a very beautiful and vibrant culture too. With I know. Speaking from my diaspora roots reggae, we have that going for us.
Ooh, good music. We literally
also we can still thrive in adversity, because like I'm not gonna say anything specific, but all I'm saying is when people make fun of us, we don't shoot schools. We just like make fun of them back. Like, we don't.
You roast them back.
Like, even through all the shit we've been through the last 500-600 years, we're still not trying to get back at anybody. We just want the playing field leveled.
Right. Absolutely.
That's it. We just want
beautiful.
Fair.
Yeah. Yes. We're not looking for revenge. We just want equality. And that's one of the positives, is that we don't have that like kind of harmful mindset, even though so much harm has been done to us and so many people try to push us down or hold us down. It's like, that's still not where we're coming from. I feel like Black people still, even when presented with that, are like, okay, that's going to be a roadblock. How can I innovate my way around that? How can I, it's like, and I feel like that kind of, we do have so much creativity that, I mean,
yeah.
Resiliency. You can't get around that. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone said in the chat, imagine music without Black people.
Right. Whew. You couldn't. Or social media. Or social media. Social media. I mean, God, we should all be getting a check just from social media alone. To me, I mean, so Jackie, you and I are the same age. To me, it's like, I was talking to Court last night and I was like, it's so weird to me to see little white kids acting like doing all of the Black affectations and like saying go off girl, and like I don't even say go off girl. It's like so mean it's crazy to me, but someone explained to me that like that's how they grew up. They basically grew up cannibalizing our culture, and so that's how they are now. But it's hard for me not to also look at it funny and like cringe a little bit every time that I see it. I mean, we've given all of our culture, which I think is unfortunate, but there's no way to, you can't stop it. Like there's no, it's already done, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
Black nerd culture. Black nerd culture.
I really quick, Dalt Column said music without Black people means Weird Al would be top of the charts for decades. That's not true. Because Weird Al actually like mimics Black people. So Weird Al still wouldn't be a thing.
And that's the point.
Like Weird Al came to prominence in the 80s off of his songs from Madonna and Prince and Michael Jackson.
Right, exactly.
Black people. Mm-hmm. So without Black people, you'd have no Justin Timberlake. Shit, you wouldn't have country
Elvis.
Music. You wouldn't have you wouldn't have Elvis, which started pop. You wouldn't have pop music.
No,
you wouldn't have like just basically. You wouldn't even have like some classical music because one of the classical musicians was black.
Beethoven.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I didn't remember whether it was Beethoven or Bach, so I didn't say it because
I want to say it was Beethoven.
I think Beethoven. So yeah, there's so much that you just wouldn't have. You know,
I love square dancing. I get down on some square dancing. I mean,
You love it. It's true. That's
it.
All right. So, someone asked this earlier. I wanted to wait to the end. I think it was Quaker Socialist asked for what is everyone's Cash App, Venmo? How can people support your channels and what you do? Let me know and I can put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Cool.
okay.
All right.
Glory.
Glory, you go
All
first.
right. Well, you can support us Slow News Day. We have PayPal. It's just Slow News Day. And then you can also send money directly to our tech guy as well, Sleepy Josh. That would be buymeacoffee.com/Bort, BORT, and then the PayPal link for Slow News Day. That's how you can support us financially at the moment. Otherwise, you can follow Slow News Day on the Rockfin, where we just lapped our FedTube subs.
Oh, wait a
And
minute, boy. You lost me at Ko-fi. I got Ko-fi.com/ what was the word after?
It's buymeacoffee.com/Bort. I can type it in too, but yeah.
Oh,
And
can you guys type it in?
Yeah.
it won't
we can
appear
go.
as a link,
Yeah.
but I can still type it in.
Okay, I'll let you type it in because you know better.
But yeah. And where else? You can find me on Twitter. Said my name. If you just search up Glory Jones, I'll come up with a hashtag Free Assange next to it. And then also I'm a part of MCSC Network. So if you want to follow the fams, please do that. Also, I'm currently helping out the defense campaign for Commander X of Anonymous. So at Free Commander X _ on Twitter, if you want to learn about that case. And then the last big thing that I have to promote is this Saturday, July 3rd, is Julian Assange's 50th birthday. So we will be meeting at Echo Park in Los Angeles at noon to basically kind of like rally and sort of celebrate like a 4th of July type deal, but like actually celebrating like real independent people, like political prisoners and stuff. So yeah, July 3rd, noon at Echo Park. We'll be doing an action there for Julian Assange's 50th birthday. And yeah, that's all I can think of right now. I'm sure I'm forgetting something to plug, but I've already rambled enough.
Okay,
I'd go if I didn't have work and also there wasn't a pandemic.
Balls.
We had to move back in with our parents, so we're not there.
Unfortunately,
we lost all 3 of our jobs, so we're not there right now.
I do miss LA though, but
I do not.
Oh, you gotta finish typing. Sorry. We're gonna type ours. We don't know how to. I don't know. We don't know how to do
I
it.
put it in the YouTube chat.
Sab, and then Sab will send it out. But we have 2 podcasts. One is called This Is Bullshit, where we obviously talk about bullshit, politics. It's entertaining and educational. We try to anyways. We just released an episode today. A 3-clipper. So, Tucker Carlson's in it. If that, gets your goat, give it a whirl. And then our other podcast is called I Hope They Show Bravo in Hell, which is about reality TV. And a lot of
but like we talk about it like not like we're recapping a show, but we're like the Real Housewives of Orange County. The root of that, I mean, it's always been racist. Right. Why? Because Orange County, like we really get into it. We look at it from a different perspective,
an anthropological kind of lens to this nonsense. Because you know what? As I said before, you got to know what the other people are doing. Otherwise, how can you combat them? So you need to know what they're up to. So we'll send it to Sab, but our Venmo or what have you. We live together, so if you send one of us money, you're sending the other one money.
We buy weed together illegally.
That's usually what it goes to. If you need brownie recipes, let us know.
If you're in the
Okay.
If you're in the DC area and you need brownies, let us know.
just don't say it out loud. Oh, sorry.
Hashtag Stripe almost canceled us, but they did not because they couldn't find any proof. So,
Girl, you do too much.
sorry, sorry. Okay, so that's what we have. That's us. Jackie.
The thing that's scrolling on the bottom right now, Ko-fi.com or Ko-fi.com/FHL network. That's the best way. The same thing you can do, Venmo, PayPal. I think I did Venmo, PayPal, and Stripe. The best is Ko-fi because that's actual money that comes through to us. We don't have to get, like with Patreon, you get all kinds of fees, and then you try to get it and you get more fees, and then they're like, okay, we'll pay you next year. And so just Ko-fi. That's the easiest one. Because like whatever you send, that will come through within a couple minutes.
Bet. And you can find, so you see the one for FHL that Jackie just mentioned, and someone else in the chat had mentioned where can they find everybody. If you go onto Twitter and go under my handle, which is at SabbySabs2, everyone's Twitter handles are in the post for this video. So that's a quick way that you can find everybody and, their channels and stuff like that as well. So in terms of things coming up tomorrow, I'm interviewing Lee Camp at 7 p.m. That'll be on my channel, on Sabby Sab's channel. Anybody got anything else they wanted to plug? Jackie, did you want to plug anything?
I just realized Monty B is Monica. Okay, sorry. It's weird seeing like going from Twitter handle to YouTube. Sorry. Yes. So I have an interview coming up with Erin Mate, which hopefully I will put out next week. On Thursday, we're doing another all women panel. I thought it was just going to be the women of FHL, but I was wrong. Apparently we've invited other people and I just forgot about that. So it's just gonna be women, but it'll be cool. And that one's gonna be solutions driven. So that one is like, because to me, talking about what's wrong is depressing as shit. We know a lot of things are wrong. Everybody talks about what's wrong. I want to talk about how we can fix it. So Thursday is somebody bought us a Ko-fi. Cool. I just got a notification. Thursday is solutions driven, the ladies edition for FHL. I think Millennial Splaining is also going to be there, and Ashley Stevens is also going to be there. And then Nerdolitics, we stream every Monday from 1 to 3 on the same way you're watching us right now. And it's Meg and I doing nerd culture. We talk about the politics of nerd culture. So kind of like the Bank Sisters do with the Housewives. I do it with just everything nerd culture. So like MCU, DC, blah, blah, blah.
Nice.
Love it.
Awesome. All right, cool. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much to everyone on the panel. I hope those of you that watched, I hope you learned something from this episode tonight about like intersectionality, our experiences as Black women, and things that you can do to be an ally and how to show like solidarity. Yeah. So thanks everyone on the panel.
Nice. So this was so fun,
you guys. This was like therapy.
I mean, we're stuck here with our parents. This is awesome. We don't have a lot of friends.
Yes.
It's very fun.
And all y'all are invited on Slow News Day too.
Yeah, I was just about to say everybody is invited on. For me, I do two things. I do like just general interviews and then also Nerdolitics. So if you want to talk pop culture, we can do Nerdolitics. But if you don't watch anything that like everybody else watches, or not everybody else, but like if you don't want to talk about entertainment, then we can just do an interview.
Oh yeah, like we're gonna talk all to each other. Oh yeah, I love it.
Oh snap! Yeah. Independent Left News is here.
Indie Left.
All right.
We would say this was so cool. You guys are. This is awesome. Very cool.
Yeah. I know. This was awesome. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.